You know what time it is. 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 Hey guys, and welcome to LITTLEBLACKBOOK91. We are back once more, and we're talking to Fernando from Ready to Love. How you doing, Cap?
What's up, family? I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm alive and I'm well, bro. I'm doing well. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing well. You doing well?
Oh man, I'm doing good, brother. I have been blessed, man. Beyond
Mm,
blessed. I can't complain at all. Can't
I
complain.
like it. The beard looking strong too, man. Looking dangerous.
Yeah, man. Had to oil it up for you, boy. Had to oil it up for you.
Jeez. Gee, you
Gotta look good for the
gotta
show,
say
man.
pause. You gotta say pause though, because you said you got oil it up for me. You gotta say
Pause.
pause. Thank you.
Pause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pause.
Thank you.
I respect your
Thank you.
craft. I respect your craft. I respect your craft.
I
So
respect for that,
I
man.
know that
Thank
you're a
you.
big, you're definitely a big interviewer. So I want to make sure that I come on here correct.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Cat, man. Love
For
for
the
that, man.
ladies. For the ladies.
Pause.
Pause. Long pause.
Long pause. No, I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. But listen, audience. It's good to have you guys with us as well today. Please leave a comment in the comment section as well. Let us know you're alive and you are here with us today. I don't want to waste much time. I want to get into conversation, but before I do, I have to make sure that Fernando, pause. You're a handsome brother out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure you actually are human and not a robot. So we're gonna ask some human verification questions. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure you are legit. Here's my first question I'm going to ask. You have to choose one soundtrack that defines your whole entire life. What would it be?
So a movie soundtrack or just an album?
It could be a movie, it could be an album, it could be a single song, something that defines your entire life at this moment.
You picked a tough one, but I'm gonna go
Mm.
with 50 Cent, Get
Mm.
Rich or Die Trying.
Mm.
Because for me, when Bruh came out, I was in 10th grade and people said I looked like him. And by them saying that, it built confidence in me. Like, I like
Wow.
50? Oh, shit, I'm a guy then. And then from there, like every song, the songs that came out with Bruh, like 50 was himself. You know what I mean? He wasn't
Mm.
trying to cater to anybody else. You knew he was from the streets and still
Yeah.
did his rap thing. And he had songs from the hood song like Many Men to the girl songs, showing love and stuff like that. So 21 Questions and those kind of songs. So he had range on this album.
Love that. Love that. I mean, I got love for 50 still as well. You know what I'm saying? So good, good one. Get Rich or Die Trying is a heavy one, I think, for a lot of us. So I'm gonna rock with you on that one. All right, question number two. Question number two. Very simple. You have a plane ticket. Plane ticket. There's nothing on it. As in no location, no destination. You are told you can write any destination on that plane ticket. Where would you be going?
If I had to choose, I would go to heaven and go see my mother. That's the honest
Wow.
truth. If I could go anywhere and go see my mom. But aside from that, um, I would say Hawaii.
Okay.
I've been all over the world. I've been to 5 continents, 19 countries, 27 states. I haven't had the opportunity to go to Hawaii just yet. So I see all the pictures and I feel like the vibe there would really suit me going to Hawaii.
Okay. All right. All right. Love it. Love it. Okay. I mean, you say we didn't want to have to cry today, but you gave me the answer that's gonna make us both cry.
My bad, boss. My bad, yo. The first thing came to my head, like her date's coming up soon, bro. And it's just like, bro, if I can see anybody, I go
Mm,
somewhere, and yeah, I'm going there. I gotta see my girl.
that's real. That's real. I would love to.
Yeah,
We can talk about that a little bit more later on as well because I love to see that as well. I think for us as men, we don't get to talk more about those kind of things. You know what I mean? As well, the importance of our parents and how they've impacted us. And that sounds like you've had a good impact from your mum as well. So I respect that
yes,
as well,
sir.
sir. Third question. iPhone or Android?
iPhone. And I have no problem with Android. I'm not one of those, you got a green box, I can't talk to you. Like, I'm fine with the green box. I'm fine with Androids. I had Androids for a long time. But then I switched over to the AirPods, the iPad and all that. So kind of everything got synced all together. So it's for convenience, not because I like iPhones. Because let's be honest, Androids are better phones. The
Wow.
cameras are always better. The technology is always more advanced. That's just a fact.
You heard it
But
here first.
I'm a bandwagon iPhone person because everybody else got one. So that's all it is. You know what I mean? You gotta be with the trends. You gotta stay up, with everybody else because they're gonna talk about you if you got a green box.
Oh, I love for that. All right.
Where I'm from.
I'm rocking with you, brother. I'm rocking with you. No worries at all. No worries at all. All right. I think you passed our human verification, my guy. I think you are human indeed. Very human. Love the answers you gave as well. Very open, honest, and transparent. Appreciate that for sharing. Okay. So I like to ask people this question. Fernando. Who is Fernando and what is Fernando's story?
Fernando is a kid from Baltimore. Born in Baltimore, raised in Virginia. I'm a very open, honest person. Like, I have nothing to hide. I am who I am. A lot of folks, like on television, y'all know me as Fernando, but at home, they know me as Savage. Like, I've been Savage over 10 years now. It's just, that's who I am. So it's kind of funny hearing, being out in the streets over the weekend, they're saying Fernando, hey, Fernando. And it's just like, who? Like, you don't know me from, what I mean? Like, it's a childhood. People call me Fernando, but now it's like the new thing. So it's kind of getting used to being called Fernando. But who I am, I just love life. I have fun. I enjoy myself. I'm non-judgmental. I'm humble. I pay respect to everybody that I meet. I love just having a good time and being around good people. If you're around me, you're protected. I'm a very responsible person. I make sure everybody's good. I make sure everybody get home safe and that kind of thing. Aside from that, like I said, growing up in Baltimore, I've seen all sides of life, the drug epidemic and things of that nature. But growing up in Virginia, I've had the slow country life also. So I've been blessed to kind of see the world in that aspect growing up. And then as an adult, like I said, I've been all over the world, continents, Asia, Africa. So I've seen how others live. And like everywhere I go, I always visit the hood. So I go to Colombia, I go to Palenque, I go to Chicago, I'm riding through the South Side. I want to just see how they live because I know how it is in Baltimore. I want to see if your hood is like my hood. And I want to pay respect to where you're from because, folks in those hoods don't get to leave, whereas I'm able to leave and get out of it. So I want to let you know, like, I'm paying respect to you. I'm coming to you because you probably can't come to me in retrospect.
Respect that, boy. Okay, I love that. I love that. I need to know straight away, first and foremost, why Savage? What's going on there? I heard Savage, and I was just hearing, is that your surname? Is that your nickname? When I heard Savage, I was like, oh, okay, this guy might have a story for us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to get into too much into it, but folks call me Savage. I earned the name, and it started out with a group of friends of mine from college. We would do things, we would say things, and they'd be like, "Yo, that was savage. Yo, you being savage right now." Way before Rihanna and all this other crap, man. This was like 10, 15 years ago. We were saying savage. So at that point, I started owning the name, and everybody just kept calling me Savage. So it kind of fit. And if you're around me, in certain situations, like I smile a lot. I'm very playful. When I'm serious, I ain't no joke. So when they say, "Oh, they go that's in that savage mode," like, yeah, bro, like this, all the play is done now. Like it's time to get serious. So I try to keep it. I mean, I'm not always on my savage stuff, but when I am, you just know, like, chill out, yo, like time to stop because you ain't gonna be able to stop me once I get started.
Okay. All right. Once again, okay. I hear that. I hear that. So when does the Savage come out? I just want to just find out. This is new to me. That Fernando Savage. We're trying to find out.
Well, truth be told, I feel like savage is about being who you are, being true to yourself. I think a lot of times people try to, wear masks away from this whole COVID thing. They try to wear masks to kind of appear like they're something that they're not. A lot of times people try to cater to social media and things of that nature. That ain't me. I'm the same real person you're gonna see, today, tomorrow. I'm always the same. I am myself. I'm gonna be myself. No matter any situation, I'm gonna be myself. And I try to tell people, like, just try being savage. Like, just try being you. Stop trying to be like somebody else and just be yourself. So for me, it's like, even though I'm from where I'm from, I can fit in any room, but I'm still me, and I'm still gonna represent where I'm from and still be respectful to you. So that's me being on my savage stuff. Like, I'm still me, and I'm being honest with you. I'm being real with you. So I have very blunt answers. I'm black and white. There's no gray area with me. You don't have to guess or question who I am or how I feel about you. You're already gonna know. I'm gonna let you know. And if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be real with you. So if you want the truth, come holler at me.
Love that. Love that. When did you develop that ethos then? When did that ethos, when was it born in you then, that ethos? Have you always been that way, or is it just something that you've developed?
I always feel like folks should be more real, be honest, be truthful, be upfront. But a lot of times I'll kind of hide behind it, trying to be hesitant of really showing who I am. And truth be told, once my mom passed away, I just didn't care anymore. I was tired of trying to be something that I wasn't. I was ready to be me because I already realized life is short. So no point wasting time trying to be somebody else. I might as well just be me and enjoy life being myself. And honestly, ever since then, like I've prospered. I've been blessed ever since. So it's kind of like just change your mind state.
Love that. What was it like when you finally then developed that I don't care attitude? Then what was that like? Tell us a little bit more about that transition that you had.
I'll do a easy life example. Work. Folks tell you get a job, keep the job. Don't leave the job. It's secure money. Why go looking elsewhere? Me, I will leave a job in 3 months, 5 months, maybe a year. I'm going to the next place. I'm going to get more money. I'm going to get a better title, a better role, and keep progressing. I'm not one to be complacent. I'm always on the move. So I'm not one to kind of sit and accept things for how they are. I'm trying to better myself and always progress.
Okay, I'm definitely hearing that. Definitely hearing that. And when you saw that you obviously then did that change and you became more you, just being you and just being free to be you, what did you see, or what did you notice happen to everything else and everybody else around you? What was their reaction? What was their kind of, kind of, I guess, behavior towards you then?
Less time spent with fake friends and more time invested in real people. So no more the associates and just wasting time with the random chicks and stuff like that. Like I want meaningful situations, meaningful relationships, meaningful friendships. So my circle got smaller, my circle got real. So now I got people in my corner that I know I can trust, I know I can rely on because they take me for who I am, and I take them for who they are. And I think a lot of times people come to me about advice or just a vent because they know I'm not going to judge you, I'm not going to act the way towards you. I'm going to listen to who you are, and I'm going to give you my best advice and give you some honest advice. And I'm not going to be biased towards you because you're my friend or because we associate. I'm going to let you know if you're right and when you're wrong. And folks appreciate that about me because you just know I ain't no BSer.
I love that. Do you know what I even love more? Even in the first 12 minutes, bro, what I love about just listening to you is you say the answer, shoo, 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 stop. I love that. Very precise, concise. Don't waste no time. You get straight to it. I gotta commend that, bro. I gotta commend that. Okay, so that's right, brother. That's no problem at all. So tell us a little bit more about then should I call you Fernando? Fernando, or should I say Savage? Which one should I go? Fernando.
Fernando, look, listen, I tell people the internet know me as be more savage. People from Baltimore call me B, call me whatever you want, yo. Just don't call me broke because I'm not. I'm not that. Call me black, call me big boy, call me big man. I don't care what you call me, yo. Just don't call me broke.
I
But
hear you, the
Fernando
broke
is
one.
cool, bro. Call me Fernando.
But we already know from the broke one is not it for anybody's label. So I'm with you on that, brother. I'm gonna call you Fernando. It's no problem. So like
Sure.
Fernando, for you, I mean, tell us a little bit about maybe your childhood. How did you grow up? Because you said you grew up. Well, you were from Virginia, but I'm guessing you grew up in Baltimore. Or
No, reverse.
oh,
Born in
reverse. Okay.
Baltimore,
Oh, okay.
raised in Virginia.
Okay. Okay. My
So,
bad.
so, so my mom's from Baltimore and sent me to my dad's in Virginia. So when I was
Okay.
5 years old, from kindergarten to 18, I grew up in Virginia. Um, my dad raised me as a single parent for the most part until I got to high school. But prior to that, my dad is a Marine, also an
Wow.
ordained minister.
So
So I grew up in a strict household. My dad didn't play no
jeez.
games. He demanded respect, and he got his
Mm.
respect. And he's Panamanian too. So being from Panama, he has the Caribbean
Ooh.
culture as well. So I dealt with all of that. But my dad is a great man. He always showed me respect, as long as I showed him respect. That's all he demanded from
Mm.
me, and never made me feel like a child. Never made me feel like I was less than him. He always made me feel like I was equal, and I could come to him about any problems that I had. So my dad was always open to hearing my problems. Allowing me to vent, and if I was ever in trouble, I could come to him and tell him like, Dad, I messed up. And he would hear me out and defend me. Even if I was wrong, he would have my back in the situation. That's one thing I always appreciated about my dad is I never felt like I had to hide something from him. He was always open to hear what I had to say and anything I was going through.
Oh man, that's so powerful, man. And it's really interesting as well because obviously it's very rare. It's much more rarer that we hear being raised by a single father. Like so that's quite an interesting experience in itself. And obviously your dad was in the Marines and also a day minister as well. That's quite a combination right there as well. So I mean, tell us on maybe some of the lessons that you kind of learned then, being around your father.
I mean, number one is, treat people with respect, but as well as, treat them how they treat you. So if you disrespect me, I might not disrespect you, but I'm not gonna rock with you. But as long as you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. And I'm somebody where you could be a bum on the street. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna be respectful to you. Same as you can be CEO of a company or a business. I'll talk to you the same way. Just because you are a lower tier or whatever, I'm not gonna treat you any differently. Like my daughter, children, I say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. I say yes, sir to kids. I show them respect. That's just how I talk. So it's just my way of showing respect to that person, hoping that they get the same back. I get the same respect from them. So respect was always big in for my father. Next, he would always say, case closed. So we have a conversation, and we get towards the end, and he's tired of talking. He'd be like, yo, case closed. I knew to shut up. If I kept talking, it's going to get worse for me. So I was just I always take heed to that. Like, all right, damn, case closed is hit. God, I had one more thing to say. All right, you got it. Case closed. All right. But, those things you learn because in my future, you have like a safe word. And when you use a safe word, you got to respect the safe word. So like those things I kind of learned from my dad growing up. Like, respecting when it's time to stop, it's time to stop.
Man, that's so true, man. I wouldn't even even ask you. Sorry, I want to even ask you as well, because I think that's so important. I mean, like I said, a lot of times we hear stories of men growing up with their mothers. So obviously, growing up with your father, you're going to learn different things. Like, how important would you say, it was growing up with your father? Because then becoming a man now and looking back, how important is that interaction, those relationship, that a time that you spent with him? How important was that for you in terms of your development into becoming the man that you are today?
I think a lot of people notice in me that others won't see is chivalry. Like my dad was very big on being a gentleman, being a man and being a gentleman. Because if a woman is with you, you open the door for her. You go to the car, open the car door for her. If it's walking on the street, I'll walk on the side of the street where the cars are. Those things he instilled in me. And I think some folks have lost over time or they've never learned in the first place. So my dad always makes sure that, like I said, talk about respect, also that chivalry as well. And like you treat women like above and beyond because they're women. And, so often in this world, what happened last night, so I ain't going to, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to protect your woman. You got to stand up for your woman. A lot of times folks will disrespect your woman. And our job as a man, step up for them and be there for them.
Definitely hear you on that. And I think that's one of the key things, especially growing up with a dad. And it's not like, no dad's perfect, you know what I mean? But there's so much importance, I think, as a man, growing up with a father figure, someone who's there, present, and able to tell you things, show you things, and just generally guide you. I think it makes such a difference for especially us men, and trying to figure out how to navigate in the world. And then it even affects our relationships in the future as well, in terms of how we treat women, like you just said, that protective piece is such an important thing. Provision, not being broke, like you said, it's an important piece, as well. So I love that, man. I absolutely love that. Okay, so what was it like then growing up in Virginia then? So what was it like?
So Virginia is slow. Like
Okay.
being from Baltimore and always visiting during the holidays, staying in Baltimore in the summertime, I could see how fast Baltimore was. The clothes that they wore was different. Their speak language, the slang was different in Baltimore. Going to Virginia, it was just like slow and was boring. And I mean, I had good friends, I had good times, but in comparison to Baltimore, it just wasn't a comparison. It was just like a lot of folks in that area are still there. They never left. Their grandparents were there, their parents are there. They're just complacent. They're just used to the area, used to the vibe and the comfortableness of Virginia, where we lived in Virginia, Southern Virginia. Whereas me, being from Maryland, being from Baltimore, I knew that there was more out there in the world. I knew that there was more money to make, more things to do, just a faster lifestyle. So for me, it was just, my thing was sports. So I did football, wrestling, track, and I mean, like I was a beast in wrestling. Like about wrestling and Ric Flair. I wrestled with his son in a tournament back in middle school.
Wow.
Like national tournament. Like I was nice in wrestling. I was recruited I was being recruited from middle school. I was being recruited by high schools as a wrestler. Like I was dope in wrestling. So if I had known about like the UFC coming about, I probably would have joined the UFC growing up. But I never wanted to be a professional wrestler. And I didn't want to be on a WWF and wrestling in the ring. That wasn't my type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's too fake for me. But I was definitely like, sports was my thing. Sports and then working. Like saying, staying busy, making money, being able to, afford things for myself, stuff like that. Because truth be told, I grew up poor. Like there were times where my dad, we on a bicycle, riding a bike to the grocery store, you know, opening up the piggy bank, taking coins out to buy food and groceries. So like I've been at the bottom before. I've seen the bottom before. So for me, it was always about, you know, accumulating income and securing my income, budgeting, savings, things like that.
Yeah, do you know what? You actually kind of touched on what I was even going to ask, because I noticed obviously that you mentioned about finance. You said, "Don't call me broke," which of course I don't want to call you broke or anything, because I know you're not. But I was going to ask, where does that come from? So maybe you can expand that a little bit more in terms of what was that like being a kid? Because I grew up as well, not being able to buy what you wanted. You know, I grew up on Adidas. Okay, it wasn't even Adidas. I remember being bought a pair of tracksuit bottoms that have 4 stripes, not even 3, 4. You know, and parents going, "Yeah, just deal with that." You know, because it's like it's not cheap. This stuff is not cheap. You know, especially if your parents are coming from another country to this, you know, to, as they call it, first world country. You know, it's not easy. You know what I mean? So tell us a little bit more about then, you know, your experience then around that finances and seeing that, you know, maybe not being able to have whatever you wanted to have at that point. What was that like for you in that time?
Well, I'm not going to stunt and say I was the poorest person in the world. I'm not going to go
Of
that far,
course.
but I
No, of
definitely had
course.
poor times. You know, I had Christmases where we didn't have a gift. You know, the
Yep.
gift came on the
Trust
26th.
me.
You know what I'm saying?
Trust me.
I didn't have Nikes. I might have had some Nauticas. Yeah, Nauticas made T-shirts. I made whatever, but Nautica made sneakers too. I had to get the sneakers, the Nautica sneakers. You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear you.
One pair of shoes a year,
I hear you.
one pair of shoes a school year. Whereas my friends, they getting Jordans every time they drop. And like when the area I lived in, like my dad put me in an area that was, you know, basketball. Jerry West, a famous Lakers player, he opened up a middle school in Virginia. So I went to his middle school. So it was this nice, fancy middle school. Most people there had money. You know, my dad did what he could to allow me to go to that school, but I wasn't keeping up with the Joneses at all. You know what I mean? I was trying my best to kind of keep up as best that I could. So I learned from then like how important money was and how you had to thrive to make more of it and how you had to secure it once you got it. So I always respected money and how it worked. And honestly, when I went to college, my degree, I have an associate's degree in business administration. My bachelor's is in finance because I
Wow.
wanted to understand. Like I had an idea of how money works, but I really want to really learn it. And from this point on, like I've handled $25 million accounts with General Motors. I work with NASA and Department of Defense, all handling, you know, budgeting and accounting accounts. So it's been something that I've always been interested in, and now I do it for a living.
Okay, I'm definitely hearing on that. So obviously you dabbled in the finance as educational wise as well. And yeah, I'm definitely hearing you on the not being a brokest or poorest, but just having to deal with a different level in terms of finances to other people as well around you and stuff. Totally hear that. So I mean, obviously, like I said, you studied finance. What was that time like when you took obviously your decision to go and study finance? You know, I know you said part of your mindset was because obviously you want to understand it. What exactly did you want to understand? Because I know you say you respected it, but what is it you were hoping that you would achieve if you took that course?
How to avoid living check to check. I
Mm,
remember in high school when they came out with the dollar menu, I was so thankful. I could eat every evening. You know, I could
trust
get out
me.
of school and grab me a dollar chicken sandwich, and I just
Come
get
on,
one.
bro.
All I
Come
could
on,
afford was
bro.
one. And sometimes you decide, do I want fries or do I
Or do
want
I want a
eggs?
burger?
You know what I'm
Come on,
saying?
bro. Come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So for me, it was like I didn't want to get back in the same position again, and I had it. Like you know, when I got out of college, I had my daughter within like literally graduated in June. She was pregnant in July the following month. So I didn't get a break from from school. I had to working 2 jobs. You know, I would be in school sometimes and get out of school, go to one job and work an overnight job afterwards, like hustling, just trying to make it. So
Mm,
even after I had my child, I had broke moments. But the whole idea for me
mm,
was in regards to finance was really to understand, you know, how to make the money grow for you, how to make the money work for you, and just understand how money moves. So learning about, you
mm.
know, stock markets, investments, you know, interest rates, compound interest, things of that nature. You know, doing accounting, you know, debits and credits. Those things you have to really understand and know what is equity and why is equity important.
Talking my language, sir. Yeah, definitely hearing on this one because it's a very big thing, you know, finance. And do you know what it is as well? I was asking because I wanted to kind of get your mindset behind it and see because I know that when you grow up in an environment where, like I said, you don't have everything, you know, you know, you you try to, like you said, you want to make sure that you don't get put in that same position yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And not everyone has the same motivation and has the same kind of ethos of trying to make sure they don't end up in that same situation. Some people just, you know what, they end up in the same situation. So the fact that you made it out, you know, says a lot about your mindset in terms of your observation and just kind of motivation to kind of push beyond that point as well. So
And
tell us a bit about,
I'll tell you
yeah, go
one
for
thing
it.
too.
Yeah.
I'm realistic, right? So the fact that I'm comfortable today, I don't know what tomorrow may bring. So it's being able to, you know, like honestly, a couple of years ago, I was out of work. I had money, I was fine, my savings were okay. I just wanted to work. I wanted to keep that same mindset, that same hunger. I made like $12 an hour at a warehouse just to work. I just want to be active. You know, I want to keep that same hunger because I feel like sitting at home, you get complacent, you get comfortable. I didn't want that to be me. Like, no, I need to work. I need to keep grinding. I need to keep moving.
I love that. I love that. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely hearing that as well. Okay, so tell us a little bit more then about yourself then in terms of like high school. What was that like then? Because obviously I know you said you wrestled and everything as well. So tell us a little bit more about high school. Who was Fernando at high school then? You know, were you a popular kid? Were you the kid that was, you know, running the streets? What were you doing from?
So I didn't think I was popular. I played all the sports, you know, every season I played a sport. But I didn't think I was popular. And my homeboy was like, "Are you popular, bro?" And I was like, "All right." He said, "Yo, ask anybody in the hallway who you are. They'll know you." And sure enough, I just walked up to one girl and said, "Hey, you know my name?" She's like, "Duh, Fernando." I was like, "Oh, snap. They know me. They know me." So I was popular. I was known. I also was very like funny. You know what I mean? Always cracking jokes. I was a class clown. I was always talkative. If I got in trouble, it wasn't for bad behavior, it was for talking. I just always talked a lot. I was just a social person. And you know, my dad, I have a brother and a sister from my mom. So I was my dad's only child. So,
Okay.
you know, my friends were like family to me. You know, I talked to the most, you know, spend the most time with, things of that nature. So my friends meant a lot to me growing up in high school. And like I said, we played sports together, we hung out together afterwards, things like that. And we was always like clicked up.
Okay, so popular guy into the sports, killing it, racking it up as well. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. And then you mentioned obviously as well that you had siblings on your mom's side as well. Oh, so wait, so when you grew up with your dad, you was the only child?
Only child from my father.
What is that like? Because I don't know what that like. I've got siblings and they're annoying. So what's that like?
My dad gave me a lot of freedom,
Mm,
which was nice. So like I could go out more than other friends could.
independent.
Um,
Hmm.
yes, because he didn't have a heavy restraint on me. He allowed me to be myself. But I think also I grew a bit of a selfishness by being the only child. So when cousins would come over, cousins want me to share, you know, share my toys, share my games. I wasn't as easy to share with because I was so used to having my own and not having to share it. Like I saw my siblings in the summertime. I saw my siblings in the winter, you know, for winter break. But you know, majority of days, every single day, I'm to myself. These are mine. This is my stuff. Well, I have to share my stuff with you. So I kind of had to learn over time, like stop being so selfish and stop being so like stubborn and kind of open up to people. But
Wow,
on the
that's
other
well.
side, like my dad spoiled me as best he could because he didn't have the finances to spoil me. So he allowed me to get like, freedoms and things of that nature. That was his way of spoiling me.
I love that. Yeah, I understand that, bro. That's real. That's real. So okay, so when you obviously
And
then went to, oh, go for it. We're gonna say something like that.
other thing too, my father did get married beginning year of high school. My freshman year of high school, my dad got married. So a lady we
Wow.
had known in the church for several years, became, my stepmom. She's like mom number two. And she was a big impact in my life.
Mm.
We have never, ever had an argument. It's been 20 years they've been married. We never had a disagreement. We never had a beef. Like I have the quote unquote perfect stepmom. I mean, she's always been loving for me, caring for me. She's a PE teacher, so she's like loves kids. Been a PE teacher for over 30 some years. So she's just very giving, a loving person, very nurturing. So I had it from my mom in Baltimore, and I had the same loving from my stepmom. So I was blessed to have two moms growing up.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that's big. That is very, very big. So okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what
So you
kids?
go from like
Yeah.
I'll say like seeing my dad being a single man, right? Like my dad's attractive, he can attract ladies and stuff. So my dad would have his ladies that he dated and stuff. But then when he got married, it was like night and day. Like he was dedicated, he was invested, and he was happy. So I got to see my dad in different aspects, being a single man and being a, happily married minister.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's wavy. I like that's wavy. Um, So okay, so obviously having then obviously the two moms. I mean, tell us a bit more about your relationship with your mom, because I didn't get to we didn't get to ask about that. I know you spoke about how great your dad is as well. What was it like then with your mom? Because obviously you had to come every summer, so you didn't get to, I guess, have that majorly long extended period apart from when you beginning. But what was that like, relationship between yourself and your mom?
So my mom gave me a break from my dad's pressures. So my dad, being a Marine and then
Yeah.
becoming a minister at some point. So he was always very strict on me, in some aspects.
Mm,
My mom was just like, do what you want to do. I don't care. Just don't break nothing. Don't mess nothing up. So, it was playtime over her house.
mm,
And then I would come back to Virginia and my dad would be like, everything you learned in Baltimore, forget it. Like, let me leave all that mess in Baltimore. Don't come back here with that same mess. But my mom was, I mean, she was like a battery in my back. She always pushed me to reach for the stars, be the best that
mm,
I could be. She always had faith in me that I would be great. I would do great things in this world. So I was always confident that I would do great. Growing up, I was a straight A student. I was hella smart. You know what I mean?
mm,
Just smart for no reason. I didn't have to study much. I just kind of understood things. I tested very well. So she was
mm.
always kind of pushing me to do greater and do more. And she had 3 degrees herself. So associates,
Whoa.
bachelor's, masters, working on her doctorate before she passed away. So she was always big on school and getting education. My dad got his degree after I got my degree. So my dad went back to school to get his degree, but he was a worker. With my mom, she
Mm.
was a school person.
Wow. Okay. So mom's had it locked and loaded, bro, when it came to academics. She's on those things. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So when you got to come back, that would then be your time to kind of relax, a bit of play, I guess just kind of
See,
recharge before you went back.
and see my siblings, see my brother, see my sister, getting to hang with
Mm.
them, have siblings, and my brother is 6 years older than me.
Okay.
So getting to see him, and like truth be told, I was in the clubs at 14 with him because he's already 20. So he find an ID, I'm in the clubs, partying and all that, having a sip here and there. So my brother grew me up.
Mm.
I dealt with older experiences at a younger age. I know how to carry
Mm.
myself around older people. I'm 14, 15, 16 around adults.
I
They
hear
out
you.
here doing their thing. I gotta act like them. I gotta be able to fit in because if I don't fit in, he gonna send me home.
I
They
hear
make me
you.
stay in the house. So I don't stay outside with him. You gotta act older. You gotta be cool. So I think, being on the show, they say I look older. I act older as well. I am
Mm.
35. I'm only 35, but my brother made me act older. I had to kind of get used to that.
Yeah, do you know what, bro? That's such a real thing. It's crazy because I think I'm quite similar as you, bro. Which is that when you have to hang around older people, because my dad was also a deacon in the church and always at church, whatever. But you're always around older people, and eventually it just rubs off on you. You know what I mean? You just have to,
Mm-hmm.
just get acquainted and up to speed, and it breeds a maturity in you. Much quicker than some of your peers because of the fact that you are hanging around with older people and it rubs off on you eventually as well. So yeah, I totally hear that as well. So okay, so I mean, yeah, it sounds like you had a good relationship with your brother as well, and you know, um, you were getting to see your siblings when you come back. And what was it? So you said obviously that your mom had a great impact on you. What was kind of one of the greatest lessons that she kind of taught you then?
I mean, it sounds cliche, but you can be anything that you want to be.
Mm,
You put your mind to it. If you try, you can do it. And me, I'm a jack of all trades. I
mm,
can put on YouTube. Like I don't like physical labor. I do computers. I work on money, but I can go under a car and do a transmission flush. Brakes and rotors. Radiators. I can do all that because I study. I look at YouTube. I learn how to do it, and I do it.
mm.
Cooking. I make all kind of dishes, lasagnas. Jamaican dishes, the curry chicken. I can do the soul food, the collard greens, the mac and cheese. My mac and cheese is banging. You know what I mean? I learned that because I study and I understand it and I do it. But whatever you want to do, I'm good at it. Like if I look at it, if I see it, and I'm very good at learning systems. I have a
Mm.
very good comprehension of how things work, how things associate. So if you give me a watch, any watch, I can set it. I can just
Yeah.
look at it, play with it a little bit, and figure it out. I mean, I just have my mind works like that. So at work now, I work around systems. My job is to find issues in systems. So when a process is being done, where's the issue, where there's a gap, where there's a risk in regards to that system.
Yeah, I love that. You're a genius. I love that. Yeah, I definitely. It's a skill that you have, an art that you have that's inbred in you. It's not something that's necessarily taught. It's just something that you have innately. That you see
Mhm.
systems whenever you look at something, you can break down certain things. Okay. That's pretty impressive. And so, okay, so that that obviously feeds into your work as well. You know, and you said obviously the cooking as well. They want to know what you put in the mac and cheese, because the ladies are asking. They want to know what you put in that mac and cheese, bro.
Yo, so I make a good roux. So in my
Ooh.
roux, I use Velveeta cheese, the chunks of Velveeta cheese. I use shredded smoked cheese, smoked Gouda,
Hmm.
and Vermont. I like to use Vermont cheese, either
Mm.
Vermont, or if I can find like I can't say a good Havarti, 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 the special cheeses. I gotta use the fancy, expensive stuff. Don't use that regular. Like, I mean, cheddar's cool. Yeah, I use cheddar, but you don't put those extra cheeses in there, kind of give it that flavor.
He was mentioning cheeses I ain't heard of. I knew I was in trouble.
Man, listen, there's so many cheeses in the world, bro.
I hear you, bro. There was a lot. Someone said yes to smoked Gouda. So yeah, okay. Seems like I think you're definitely past the test for a lot of them. Okay, so I mean, talk to us a little bit about then. Obviously, growing up, but going into relationships. Then, what's your relationships been like? What's your dating history been like? What's it been like for Fernando? You know, because you're handsome, you're strong, strapping, sir. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can cook, you can clean, you're systematic with how you do stuff. Tell us a little bit more about the dating history. What's going on there, kids?
I've had some interesting relationships.
Mm.
I've dated, so I'm African American. I'm also Panamanian.
Okay.
I've had exes that are African, exes that are Dominican, Puerto Rican. My longest relationship was a young lady from Miami. And I've had, for the most part, they were just like a year here, a year there. And then I guess when I was 27, 28, I met a young lady and we had a longer relationship. So that was like my 7 year on and off relationship. That was my longest one. But, prior to that, saying it was just a little hit and miss, hit and miss. And I always told people, like, I don't want a girlfriend. Like, you meet me, we're going to have a great time. I will treat you like the love of my life while I am with you. When I'm not with you, I'm doing my own thing and I'm enjoying life. And you will never, like, I'm not going to play you. You're going to know where I stand, but I don't want a girlfriend. And some accepted it and some didn't. But then, like I said, over time, I met a young lady who was just like, all right, you know what? I think I can move forward and actually get a relationship with you. And it was a long-term relationship.
Okay, wait. So just to enlighten me. What do you mean by there not be the girlfriend situation? What did you mean by that? We'll have a great time. What did you actually mean by that?
I think some men only do certain things, certain people, leave it at that, men and women, only do certain things when our relationship. Like, I buy you gifts if we're in a relationship. I'll pay for a trip when we're in a relationship.
Okay.
I'll make you dinner in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Whereas me, that's just me. So I'm spending time with you and you're worth it. I'm going to do these things. And some may see it like, you only do that for a girlfriend, though. You only do it for somebody that you're committed to. And that's not me. If I actually really like you and we're having a good time and I'm enjoying the vibe, I'm going to spoil you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to look out for you. And sometimes the signals get kind of mixed. Like, wait, you said you didn't want to be my boyfriend, though. I'm like, I don't. But I do boyfriend-like things. And I understand that some people get bothered by that. It becomes an issue for some people. But then sometimes you meet people that can adjust to it and actually prefer it or they like it. And so I've had situations where we were just very good situationships. We just had a great time together. And I think sometimes everybody's different, but sometimes labels affect the situation. So everything was good until you became my girlfriend. Now you're acting different. And I'm gonna be the same person the whole time. I'm not gonna act different because you're my girlfriend now. I loved you. I liked you, loved you, whatever, the same way before that. I'm not gonna change now that you're my girl. But some people act like they act different when they become a relationship. They act like they become insecure or they just become very possessive or aggressive for no reason. So those things I try to avoid. That's why I would say, hey, let's not use no label. Let's not use any labels. Let's just be friends and enjoy the time we have together when we're together.
Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, cool. We'll come back to that. I'll revisit that. I'll revisit that. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. But you also said as well you had a daughter as well. Did you get married? I don't know because I don't know if that was correct. Did you get married?
No, it was a I don't want to use me and a young lady engaged in intercourse, and she had a child. We weren't really dating. We were friends. We were good friends. We were homies. We hang out all the time. And this one time we didn't use protection. And one time we didn't use protection, she ended up pregnant. And yep. And like I said, I just graduated from college. So 4th of July, we in the beach, in the water, living. And a mistake that I made, I own it. I still have my daughter. I'm a great father. You see my daughter on my page. I mean, that's my little boo right there. But it wasn't planned. It wasn't what we expected to happen. But when it happened, we took responsibility and we did our thing. And we have no problems. Like, I don't have any kind of baby mama drama. My mother, my child is a great person. She's awesome, easy to talk to. Whatever we need from each other, we got it. It's never a question. And we have a good relationship. And we take trips together as a family and things like that. And we just we respect each other. So.
I love that. I love that. I mean, the natural question is then why not marry or be with her? I know because this is a time when obviously you said you're coming out of what age would it have been around college? Okay.
Yeah. So truth be told, when I graduated, I did 2 years of community college, and if you know the States, like community college, then you can take your credits from community college, put it towards your bachelor's.
Okay.
Well, my school didn't accept all my credits. They only accepted 1 year credits. So instead of me doing 2 more years of college, I had to do 3 more years of college. So I graduated at 23 years old, and then she got pregnant when I was 23. Why we're not together? Being honest, she does not prefer males. She prefers females. So a little bit more history. I knew her back in high school. We hung out a little bit in high school, and then we stopped talking. And then I saw her again when I was a senior in college. When I saw her again, she had went on to prefer women, perfectly fine. She saw me and said, "Hey, homie, let's hang out, let's be friends." So hanging out again, and then one thing leads to another. And I guess I'm not gonna say why she did it, but she was doing things with me that she normally wasn't doing anymore. So for her future, I don't think she wants a male.
Yeah.
She wants, So I respect it. I've hung I've had a date, hang with her and her girlfriend, and party, and have a good time. You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
I fully respect her and her choices and their lifestyle.
Thank you. I appreciate the transparency on that. That's fair. That's fair enough.
That's what helps me. So it's been a benefit to me because if I'm dating somebody, their first question is, so what's your baby mama? And what's her issue? And I'm like, you can meet her. She don't want me at all. I'm not on her radar. Trust me.
She don't see me.
So,
John Cena.
Yeah. Already. So yeah.
I hear that, bro. I hear that. Okay, so I mean, so when was the last serious relationship you've been in then? When was the last, long-term relationship you have been in then?
My last one ended January 2021.
Okay.
So when I started this Ready to Love journey, I was freshly back on the market while dealing with, the realm of COVID and everything involved with that. So I was on a on and off situation for the past 7 years, leading up to 2021.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question, isn't it? On and off, what does that mean? I don't need intimate details. I just need to know, what does on and off mean?
Sometimes y'all cool, and sometimes y'all not cool. We always stood by each other. We never stepped out of our situation, but there were just moments where we were not seeing eye to eye, and we had to take a break and kind of reevaluate, is this what we really want? And then I think, I know being in quarantine in 2020, it ended us because we were stuck on top of each other, and we both were outgoing people. We both travel a lot, outside partying, hanging out, events, things of that nature, or normally outside. So when we're closed in, we would have house parties. Even during COVID, we had house parties, game nights and stuff. And then when they really, really shut everything down, it was like, just me and you every day. And it was like, bruh, you really got to learn that person and learn your likes and dislikes. And I really got to see a lot of the compromises I was making that I was over. And I was just like, I have a different idea going forward of what I want. And she had the same. I mean, even simple as she lived in Virginia and we lived in Virginia, and I wanted to live in Maryland. I was done with living in Virginia. So it was kind of like, I'm going to go where I want to be and live where I want to live. And I had opportunity now to do that, and that's what I did.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. When would you say is your first love? Who was your? You don't say who that person is, but what you know? Who was your first love? What was that like? Have you ever been in love? That's the question you have to ask as well. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, the first love is the one that you start deleting numbers for, because you
Mm,
know those numbers may lead you back to going backwards.
I hear
You
that.
know, you try to revisit a past situation.
I hear
So when
that.
you delete the number, then you're moving forward. You're investing your time and energy in that one person. That's when you learn their likes and dislikes. That's where I come in and I give a surprise gift on a random day, not because it's a holiday, but because I like you and I appreciate you and I want to show you my appreciation. Those things like that.
Okay. 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 So wait. So you've had a first love then, yeah? You've had that.
I had a first love. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
even my last situation, I was in love. I mean, we were the best of friends.
Mm,
Our communication was both verbal and nonverbal. And we've had times where like we're out at a party, she's across the room from me, and I just look at her, she look at me, and we have a whole conversation with just our eyes and our body motions. And like people can see us interacting, and they like, who is he talking to? Who is he looking at? And then they see us locking eyes. And I mean, just little things like if we text each other, it'd be at the exact same time, like often, like so often we would text at the exact same moment. Or if she's beside me and we're shopping on Amazon for something, and she'll say, "Hey, look at this," and when she show it to me, I got the same thing on my screen also, looking at the same exact item. Like we were very, very much like-minded. So I truly, truly loved her, and I appreciated her. And our issue was more so conflict resolution than it was caring about each other, and it was just not being able to learn how to get past a disagreement. But aside from disagreements, I mean, she was awesome. She was awesome, and I learned a lot from her, and I grew up a lot by being with her because I
mm,
wanted to be better for her.
I
I
hear
wanted
you.
to show her more. I want to do more for her. So I thrive to be better because of her.
That's real. That's really, really real. And did you guys have labels in that relationship, or was it still kind of
Yeah,
open?
well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we had labels, but in the beginning we didn't have labels,
Okay.
and I think that was our issue because we didn't want to believe we truly liked each other. We just
Mm,
thought we were having a good time, having a fun time, and folks around us would say, "Damn, y'all niggas in love?" We'd be like, "Ew, hell no!" Like, she cool, but I don't like her like that. And we kind of we just kept avoiding it, and then finally, like, they were just like, "Yo, like, no one else is gonna talk to y'all because y'all are with each other." And when
mm.
we're talking to each other, we form a bubble. Like it's nobody else in the room, and it's just me and her. And it's just like that bubble effect. I knew it was real. Like no one else even matters to me right now. I'm focused on her.
Mm.
And like I was always just like when we weren't together, she was always on my mind, making sure she's okay, making sure she's straight. Need anything, things like that nature. That caring aspect came into play being with her.
Mm. Okay. 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 Mm. I'm hearing you. Mm. 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 Okay. Okay. I'm definitely hearing you. I'm definitely hearing you. Um. That makes a lot of sense. Um. I'm trying to shake something feeling. You know what I mean? I'm hearing something, but I'm not sure if I'm hearing something say. You know what I mean? So I need to answer a back question. I'm gonna ask a back question before I come forward. How did you deal with having to be in Virginia at points in time with your dad and be in Baltimore at times with your mum? How did you deal with that? Because I'm guessing from a young age you've always had it that way, right? You've never seen mum and dad together, so you've always had that separation. How did you handle that? And what was your kind of thoughts on that situation?
It may have been different if my parents divorced when I was 7, 8, 9, whatever,
Mm,
but they got divorced when I was like 2 or 3. I
okay.
was conceived on their wedding night, on their honeymoon.
Oh wow.
So I only know my parents being separated. I don't know them being together. So my mom would drive to Baltimore. Well, sorry, they would drive to Middle Point between where we lived in Virginia and where my mom lived in Maryland. They would meet in the middle and do drop offs. So that was normal to me. So I never had I just knew my summers were in Baltimore. You know, throughout the school year, I was in Virginia. That's just what it was. And it didn't bother me. I think I appreciated it because I got to experience different environments completely. The Baltimore side of my family, they niggas. They hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, they hood. So I got to see like a ghetto side of people, you know, and, you know, I got aunts that are addicts, uncles that are addicts, had to deal with that on the Baltimore side. But then on the Virginia side, my dad's side of the family, the Panamanians, you know, the church-going people. All of my uncles are married. So I have 3 uncles, all married. So I got to see a different type of interactions. And then like my family will always do a family reunion every year. So we get this big old house with like 7, 8 rooms in it. And we all would live together during MLK, Martin Luther King weekend. So they would kind of build that kinship with my family, my relatives on my dad's side. My mom's side was just like Thanksgiving. I see them on Thanksgiving maybe, and that's about it. And we didn't really have much unity. But, you know, it's just different sides of the family. 2 totally different experiences.
How did that affect you in any particular way, though? In terms of now you looking back, looking at maybe how you deal with relationships, do you think that dynamic affected you? I'm not talking about your parents necessarily parenting. I'm talking about the fact that obviously potentially having to, you know, have that separation for a short period of time, because obviously you had your stepmom later on. So, and you had 2 different styles, 2 majorly different. One strict regime, come to the other side, a bit more looser. Nothing that there's anything wrong. It's just 2 different styles completely. So like now looking back in it, as you know, you've grown, you've matured, you've understood. How do you think that dynamic plays into relationships now?
Part of why I say I can fit in any kind of room. If I'm in Virginia, I'm around some country, possibly rednecks. I got to be able to handle myself. Same as I'm in Baltimore, I'm in a hood, walking down North Avenue. You know what I mean? Stuff to go down out there. I'm ready for it. I'm able to handle myself as well. So it made me more well-rounded. Regardless of relationship, it made me able to date different styles of people. So some women are more like you know, book smart, you know, a little nerdy, you know, maybe quiet. I can deal with them. Same as a chick got a mouth on her, she's a little bit more aggressive, a little wild, a little ratchet. I can deal with her too. So I've been placed in those environments from the time I was growing up to now. So I'm used to these type of situations. I know how to adjust. It's like you ever see Bill Bellamy, How to Be a Player. You got to adjust to any environment.
Okay. By the way, I don't want you to say like I'm trying to come at you. I'm just trying to understand. You know,
bruh, bring it, bruh. We're talking. Talking. Bring it.
I'm just trying to understand. Okay, so clearly, obviously, like I said, you've been in a long-term relationship that was almost 7 years as well. Before that relationship, then, did you have another long-term relationship, or was there any type of relationship that you've been in longer term?
At the most, like a year or so. It's about a year there.
Yeah, that's still
and
pretty
just
decent.
remember, I graduated at 23.
Oh. Is it me? Have I frozen? Is that me? No, I think it's Fernando, isn't it? No, not you lot saying those comments. What's wrong with you? You lot are terrible. He'll come back. He'll come back. He'll come back. I had to make sure. I was like, wait, hold on. Was that me? I wasn't sure if it was me. I was like, yo, that was too funny, man. He'll come back in a second. Maybe his phone like died or something. He didn't put the phone on charge. You know the ones there. Don't put your phone on charge and it comes back to bite you. You feel me? But you know, guys, you know, I'm enjoying the conversation so far. I'm trying to just get a bit more information. Again, this is not to anybody who's watching who's new here. This is not to try to out anybody. We like to try and find out a bit more about the person, and hopefully we can understand more about them, and hopefully understand more about you know, the way that they operate in relationships as well. You know, sometimes these are key moments in these kind of conversations. It helps us to understand why they decided to go on Ready to Love and why they acted the way they did. So, you know, we gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it. Yes, Duana C. Living together is not casual. It's not an easy thing. So we have to ask that question. Why did you decide to you know, why did you decide to live with somebody? What was it about? You know? Grace said Grace, what did you find out in 5 minutes? That's what I want to know. Grace, what did you find out? That's what I'm trying to find out. What did you find out, Grace? What did you find out in 5 minutes that you're saying that? Talk to us in the chat. What did you guys find out in 5 minutes? Put your little what's your observations into the chat, please. What did you guys see? You know, maybe you can help me. Maybe it'll guide some of my questions. You know, maybe we can help guide my questions. You know, because these things are interesting. Do you know why? Because even me, I question me when I'm dating. Like, if you ask me a question about dating, I know, Hannah. Yes, that's why I'm trying to get. That's why I'm trying to get the answer. You know, that's why I'm trying to get the answer. Ravine said, F-way tendencies. Ravine said, safe F-way tendencies. Man. You know, I think there is. I want to get a little bit deeper and see. You know, I sense some things, but I want to be able to. I want to be able to kind of dive a little bit deeper to unearth the evidence of what I think I'm seeing, just so that we can understand where he's coming from. You know, he will think in a particular way, you know, as well. So, exactly, we'll find out. Someone said hit him up, see what's taking him so long. Yo, I think his phone just died. That's all. See. That's it. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna find out. You gonna find out. Let's see where he is. Let's see where our brother Fernando is. He's back. Yes, brother. Your phone died?
No, man, it didn't die. I'm so confused. They ain't doing nothing. They won't load nothing. I don't know where I'm on my tablet. I'm on my tablet on my iPad now. Yeah, I don't know what happened, bro. That was
it's all
weird.
good, man. It's all good, bro.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about that, bro.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
No, brother. It's appreciate it. It was good conversation. So I'm enjoying the conversation where it's going to and stuff. So, no, you were just saying, obviously, before we got cut off. And I'm trying to remember. Now I know who you look like. I was trying to think who you look like. You look like Michael J. White. That's who you look like.
Heard it before.
I was like seeing it, and I'm like, brother, someone look like somebody I know. Michael J. White. Yeah,
I got Michael J. White. I get Caesar from Black Ink.
Okay.
Tattoo guy. I get him often. And then like old football players like Vernon Davis and Glenn Jacobs, a couple guys like that. Like it's always somebody I look like. So, but yeah. Jay White though. Okay. Michael J. White.
Yeah. You
that's Spawn. Look, truth be told, I got a tattoo on my leg. I got a Spawn tattoo on my leg. They even said it on the show.
Yeah. He was Spawn. Yeah, I remember you said that as well on the show. Yeah. Oh, okay, mad. Yeah, you did mention that. Oh wow. Shout out to Michael J. White. Oh yeah. So we'll just talk about obviously relationship. So yeah, obviously you were saying obviously you have been in a few relationships where you've been 1 year, etc., and stuff like that. Then, which are still valid relationships. They are still. I would still class them as being lengthy. Because 1 year is not a long time at all. I mean, 1 year is a long time to be with someone. Okay, so for you just kind of observing some of those relationships you've been in for 1 year and stuff like that, why did those relationships not turn into prosperous endings, such as marriage or anything? Was that on your mind at the time, maybe, or did you have a different mindset? Like, what was your kind of thoughts at that time then?
I think being in my early 20s, marriage wasn't necessarily my focus.
Okay.
But I still wanted I enjoyed the monogamy. I enjoyed investing my time and energy in that one person, you know, us growing together, us traveling together. But I think the marriage part wasn't there yet. So unfortunately, we didn't make it far enough. You know, just things happened and we just didn't make it.
So that was more like your mindset necessarily at that time wasn't necessary to go into marriage for you. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
I had a young daughter, and I didn't even want another child right away. Like I wanted to enjoy my daughter and that time spent.
Okay, that makes sense as well. So then, what made you, if I heard correctly, then the woman that you dated for 7 years, what made you want to, like, did you guys move in? Did you say, if I heard it correctly,
Yeah, we
did you
moved in
move in?
together. Mhm.
What made you move in and get to that stage? Then that's that's a big step. Before the marriage situation, that's a very big step. What made you take that route?
Well, I'll say she definitely pushed me and said, "Hey, going forward, if we're gonna keep doing this, I want this in my future." And I was like, "Okay, so either I step up and I move in with you, and I be the man you need me to be, or I move on, get off the pot and find somebody else." So I said, "Okay, I'm ready for this adjustment." I mean, times is hard. Things cost money out here,
Of
so it's
course.
better to So we would save money working together than working apart or living separately. That's what we did, and we took that route. So it was like one thing, like building blocks. So when she wanted to like be in a
Mm,
relationship, she said, "Hey, we've been kicking it all this time. We've been dating, so seriously dating. Why we're not being monogamous?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right." And we took those steps. So I would say she kind of led with those conversations, and it was time, and it was me kind of dragging my feet on those situations.
Why were you dragging your feet then?
Wasn't no rush. And it's like
Mm,
I'm somebody that says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
okay.
sometimes you never know what the next step is going to bring. So
Mm,
if things are working fine now, why add to it? Why possibly mess up a good thing? Some say, but I said she did the right thing, pushing me go forward because you got to progress, you got to evolve. I stand by that on a regular basis. So why can I stand by that in a relationship?
But I don't think there's anything wrong if you didn't move in per se. But obviously, so was marriage on her mind then? Was that her step as well? Was marriage? Because obviously, I think you're sound brother. So I think you would do the right thing, and
Yeah,
I believe you're that kind of guy. You're the person that will, if they request it, you'll do the right thing. That's just you. So if she had requested marriage, would you have gone to marry?
we discussed it even
Mm,
to the point where we had plans of 2020 to get married and have a whole ceremony. And 2019, we took pictures, took the bridal pictures, all that kind of good stuff, or wedding pictures, whatever you call it. But we never made it. COVID hit, and the venue that we had saved canceled the ceremony, which we understood because of COVID, and no one wanted to come together anyway during 2020. And leading up to that date, I mean, they canceled in like April of that year. We had scheduled to do it in June of 2020. But by April, we're still going through our issues and having troubles. So I think everything happens for a reason, and it happened the way it happened because it's supposed to happen that way. So we didn't make it to the ceremony. We didn't make it to that forever, but we weren't supposed to, and we didn't have the mindset for it. We were just when you say somebody's better friends and not lovers. I think when we got the love involved and emotions involved, we just were no longer compatible. But when we were friends and having a good time and just enjoying life, I think the freedom of just being us allowed us to have a better time. But when we tried to adjust to the relationship lifestyle and trying to conform to that, it wasn't us at all. We had a lot better time when we had to escape to date other people and deal with other people. But when the more and more we got closer, like the more we fell apart. Strange enough.
mm. Is that a common theme that you found with some of the dating history that you've had?
No, most people have. I haven't lived with a female before actually. So I'm a first
No,
time
right,
living
to
with
be
a
honest,
woman.
you're good. Yeah.
So that was new to me. And I had expectations that she didn't live up to. Now, not
Mm,
expectations, but things I would have liked or preferred. So just for example, I did all of the grocery shopping every single time. Excuse me. I washed all my own clothes, put away all my own clothes. It's not a woman's job. I totally agree. But you would think certain things would come where you would no longer do things individually. We would do things as a team, or she
mm,
would help out in certain aspects. because we both cooked, we both cleaned. You know, we shared those things, but we were also separate in other areas. You know, we kept our finances separate, we kept our friends separate, and we never really gelled as one. Guys, spent so much. We spent so much time being separated and being cool. When it was time to become one, we didn't know how to do it, and we just didn't understand, and we just didn't fully dive into it. You know, we didn't put our all into being one. We still kept our separate ways about us, even to the point where we had 2-bedroom apartments. All my clothes, all my stuff was in a whole other bedroom. We never shared the same closet, and it made it seem like a big deal. But in living together, I think it would have brought us close. We never shared a bathroom. Always had my own bathroom on the other side of the other apartment. I think those things kept us separated, where we should have been trying to gel and become one.
Fernando. This is interesting. Okay.
Live and you learn, brother. Live and you learn.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What did you see? You don't have to give me intimate details, but what did you see that you didn't make the first move in terms of marriage? Because it doesn't sound like you made the first move. That's what I'm saying. So you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to understand it. Because I know as men, if we don't see something or we feel like something's missing, we gonna stay in it, but we ain't gonna push. So I'm trying to ask that question. What were you seeing or not seeing that you decided not necessarily to push so hard on the marriage issue?
I think if somebody, I assume, if somebody really and truly loves everything about you, and if they're really totally for you, they would do things out of the kindness of their heart, not because you asked. So, being that I've been single now for the past year and a half, I have met women that literally come to my house, hung out, and like if I cook dinner, they immediately wash the dishes afterwards, or dishes that I cooked. First day being at my house, and I'd be like, "Yo, you good? I got the dishes." Like, no, you cook, I'll clean them. Like, I got this. Sit down, go sit on the couch, chill. I didn't get that at all in all my 7 years, not once. So, and somebody's doing it out of the kindness of their heart, but they just want to do it. So I kind of learned that there's different ways of showing those, whether it's love languages or showing appreciation, that I wasn't receiving. And I just felt like something was missing, and I couldn't put a finger on it. I just knew I wasn't content. Like, it gotta be more to, when people say love, it gotta be more than just this. Like, this is fun. I enjoy it, but there's no depth to it. And me and my ex both agreed that we never had like deep conversations, because we never wanted to risk having an argument or having a beef or things blowing up. So often we would avoid difficult conflicts or different situations. So we kind of had a very surface level relationship. We had a great fun time, but it was very surface level. We traveled the world, but it still had a surface level to it. And I think COVID, was like time to get deep, because I need you now. I need you to, I'll talk to you more, because you're the only person here. So I got to talk to you more, got to be around you more. And it was just like, nah, this ain't what I want.
That's a real answer, bro. That's a real answer. Oh, that's a real answer. Okay, now I'm getting it. Okay, I'm getting it. So, man, my brain is tingling. My brain is tingling, sir. My brain is tingling because you're making us understand something. I think it's so important because, like I said, I'm trying to understand you in your first. I'm hearing, let's say, for instance, I'm hearing, like you said, you guys didn't necessarily mesh together the way you wanted to, and you didn't also manage to get as deep as you really wanted to. Which is really interesting. So because of what you said, it was really powerful. You said, obviously, like, let's say, for instance, you're washing the dishes. She didn't necessarily offer. That wasn't her MO how to. Not that she's bad, but she didn't offer maybe per se to say, hey, I'm gonna get, or not even offer. I'm gonna get the dishes. You cooked, I'm gonna get the dishes. She didn't naturally offer that role for you. How strong were you in communicating that you felt that way?
And I will say, we did couple counseling. And when I brought it up to the counsel, like, what things are you missing that you would have liked to have had in a relationship? And I was like, sometimes it'd be nice if she just washed my clothes. Not that I need her to. It's just a nice thing to do, because I'm always doing nice things, doing thoughtful things, just out of the blue. I rub her feet every single day. She had a broken leg that never really healed well. So I would rub and massage her legs every single day. Bruh, I'd have probably had maybe 5 massages in the whole 7 years, bruh. Like, and it just wasn't her thing, you know. But did I ask for the massages? No, I didn't. But it'd been nice to have somebody just say, "Hey, baby, let me rub your shoulders and make you feel better." And she just didn't have that. So did I speak up? I didn't, and that's on me. And she told me that from the beginning. Like, why didn't you say something in the beginning? And it's almost like I don't have to. I don't feel like I should have to request those kind of things. I still should let it be known because you don't know what you don't know. So in fairness, I should let her know that. But my same feeling is, if you genuinely out of the kindness of your heart want to do those things, you would do it. And I feel like if I have to tell you to do it, or I have to ask for you to do it, then you're doing it just because I asked for it, not because you genuinely want to. And I'm not somebody that wants to do people to do things that they don't want to do. I'd rather you do things because you want to do it. I live at that across the board. Do what you want to do. That's being savage. Do your own thing, bro. Do what makes you happy. So if you feel uncomfortable or you feel like it's nagging or annoying to do those things for me, then don't do it. But I want somebody that will do those things out of the kindness of their heart.
Yes. Okay. And by the way, this is not bad. This is really good. This is some really good stuff, because what you're touching on now, bro, I'm really getting a good picture now of understanding. And I'm talking about you specifically because I think it's opening my eyes here. In terms, because you spoke earlier about love languages, that's part of the conversation there as well, and everything. And so for you at the end, when you did the counseling, did it yield the results that you needed at the end, or did it not necessarily? It would have yielded some results, but did it yield the results that you wanted at the time?
So we did counseling with this white guy one time, and he gave us a website to use. He gave us a website to kind of help with conflict resolution. I had the same website already saved on my phone. I was already using that website. It wasn't working. Then we had an older black lady that she was working with, and then she kind of brought me in, me with the older black lady. And that's why I talked about the whole safe word thing, where it was like, all right, it's getting real heated right now. This conversation is getting real heated. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't gonna progress and it can bend for either of us to still keep on talking. Let's just stop talking. Here's a safe word. Let's just say the word pineapple. Here I go. I say, hey honey, pineapple. Fuck that pineapple. I'd be like, come on, yo. Like, I'm trying to use this. I'm using what they said to use. I'm taking the stuff they said to take. I'm not yelling. I'm sitting down. She's standing up over me yelling. I'm sitting down looking, just taking it. And I'm gonna let y'all know, she's 6 foot tall, 2-something. She ain't no little girl. She's a grown tail woman, grown ass woman. So she never was. I'm 6'1", she's 6 foot. So she never was afraid of me. She never backed down from me. She was all of an alpha female. And I have no problem with lady being a boss, but at some point, somebody got to be recessive. Somebody got to take a step back and allow the situation to let go. And it was so often me stepping back and allowing things to be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to shut up. You keep, see what you got to say. And it just was not a useful, beneficial way to resolve a conflict.
Do any of the ladies that you've ever dated have any similar traits then?
Hell no. I hated it. I hated it, bro. I hated it. Like, other women didn't argue or fuss, or they just knew, at some point they would stop fussing. Or they would just, or I'll be the loud one, I'll be the aggressive one, and they would kind of calm me down. But I never had to be the one to continually kind of calm down the situation. And I think earlier in our relationship, I was the more aggressive. I own that. And I had to learn to kind of shut up. And I didn't always have to be right. I had to learn that in an argument, there's no reward for being right. Okay. There's no trophies or nothing for being right. So I have no problem being wrong, or accepting myself, or accepting that I'm wrong, or accepting that right now is not the time or place to have this conversation. Another time or place to kind of have this discussion. Let's table it for another time. But not everybody's like that. Some folks have to address it right then and there, right away. And they don't understand that you're too angry, you're too riled up to kind of have this conversation. It's not going to benefit either of us to keep on talking right now. It's only going to get worse. And I try to bite my tongue, but at some point, I'm going to get upset myself. So it's kind of like, I just look forward to my future. The focus is conflict resolution, because we're going to have disagreements. It's unavoidable. But when they come, how do we move past those disagreements?
So what made you stay there so long then? If she's different from all the other women, what was she doing for you, Fernando, that you stayed, that you even moved in? Fernando, this is not the one that didn't usually do what other ladies are doing. So what made you stay? What was she giving you?
She was with the shiznit all the time, every time. She wasn't afraid of nobody. I wasn't afraid of nobody. So nobody would ever test us. We traveled the world. I mean, Belize, Puerto Vallarta, all up and down the U.S., road trips, everything. We did it all. Thailand, all that. We've been places. We've seen places. Europe, Paris, Belgium, Amsterdam. We did all that together. And we always had a good time doing it. And when you travel with somebody, you have to be able to adjust to that culture.
Yeah.
You don't know what the culture is going to bring. And you know how you say, kids everybody out the hood. You know what I'm saying? They still got a hood in them. You know what I mean? They're just not worldly people. And she was very worldly. She understood how the world works. She had spent time growing up in Germany and things like that. She understood being around different cultures. Cooking. She better cook than I was. And I'm a damn good cook. She better cook than me. Her food was bomb. And I learned from her in cooking. My daughter's tall and she's tall. I told my daughter how to keep her head high and be proud of how you look and be proud of being tall. And sometimes women are they're talked about for being tall. But she said, be proud for being tall. So her and my daughter relationship, I really liked as well. So those aspects, I would look past the red flags because of all the great things that she did, just work-wise. We both progressed financially from the jobs we had. We had good money coming in the house. Whatever I wanted, I could buy. You know what I'm saying? We never worried about bills and paying bills, things of that nature. That was the least of our worries. So being in a situation like that where you never have to worry about the bills being paid, I was scared to live alone again. I was worried, can I really afford living alone? I'm so used to this situation and having this abundance of, wealth. But like I said, at some point, you got to kind of just accept that I'm not happy enough to keep in the same situation. I got to do better for myself. And there's no beefs, there's no ill will. And I will blatantly say, I apologize for what I said on the show about her and the resorts and stuff like that, because that was after we were together. We were still talking, we were still communicating, but that was after we were officially together. But it was something that happened where on the show, they asked me, we had all discussion about my relationship. What I'm telling you now, I told them the same thing. Did they air it? They didn't. What they aired was what they aired. What y'all saw was a very negative concept, a very negative part of a very good discussion that we had, and a very positive discussion that we had. But they did their job and posted what they posted. But, for me, when that happened, when I saw her do that, it was like, I don't want somebody that does that. I don't want somebody that would do that, especially as how we're talking. I feel like there's a lack of respect here for you to go do something like that. So based on that disrespect, I'm good. I'm going to move on and do my own. I'm officially now keep moving forward on what I'm doing now.
Okay, that's a fair shout. That's a fair shout. I mean, this woman sounds amazing. Aside that,
She is, bro. If you
she's
see her, you
amazing.
be like, God damn, she bad.
That's the problem.
No, I would say when they say love at first sight, she was love at first sight. I saw her picture on Facebook and I was like, who is she? And ever since I met her on Facebook, we met through Facebook, and I was Inbox Bandit. We call him Inbox Bandit. I pulled up through the inbox, and it's a video out there of me proposing to her in Paris. They went viral, 16,000 views on Facebook. Me proposing to her in Paris. It was beautiful, bro. And she was a beautiful person, both inside and out. But it's just certain conflicts we just couldn't get past, and that's just life, man.
I mean, it sounds like you two were Bonnie and Clyde, but it was the other side that just wasn't running. So you had somebody that you can run with, but you didn't necessarily have somebody you can rest your head with. So it was one half of the job done.
So Bonnie and Clyde, sometimes I felt like she was Bonnie and she had my back, and other times she might be the rat and be the one to get me snitched and get me, get me hemmed up and get me locked up. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't always there in my corner. It's it was more about what benefited her than what benefited us. And where me, I was always about us. I'll make sure you good. I'll take a loss for you to be good, but I didn't get the same in return. That's one thing I look forward in the future. You for me and me for you. That ain't all about you. I think sometimes, some women may feel like, they're the catch. They're the prize. And I'm like, do you see my resume? You see what I bring to the table? I'm a catch as well as you're a catch. So have my back like I have your back. And if you can't do that, then we good.
I'm gonna ask a wild question here, but I'm gonna make a statement kind of question to it for what I'm hearing. So I think you're a very strong, you're dedicated person. I think it sounds like when you make a bed, regardless of situation, you're gonna lie in it. I feel like that's the kind of guy that you are, right? So I think what I'm hearing, especially from this situation, is, you know what? You made your bed in this situation, you lied in it, you tried to figure it out as you were in this relationship as long as you could. And when you couldn't figure out no more, it got to where it got to, right? And as you're looking back, you're saying, okay, I'm realizing there are certain things that we weren't even really connected on that I needed from this particular person. But what I also heard was there was that you didn't necessarily vocalize what you needed. You knew you needed it, but you didn't vocalize it because you wanted her to almost, and I'm going to say this, read your mind. And so what I'm kind of seeing is this is my kind of thought, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Work-wise, assertive. Money-wise, assertive. Anything to do those kind of things that are outside of the emotional needs, assertive. Once it gets to emotional aspect, now saying what you need, that's maybe your passive area. From what I'm hearing. That's just me, from what I'm hearing. Which is why I was kind of asking earlier on a bit more about the other girls, because I think what I was kind of hearing was the reason why you stayed in this relationship so long is you guys were running mates, you connected on that aspect. She was your better part in some areas in terms of the fact that she was similar to you, but actually voicing how you needed this part from her, I think this relationship potentially exposed the weakness. I don't like to say weakness, but exposed a part that you never really maybe had to say with other women. Maybe other women just naturally, were you naturally chose women who were naturally going to do stuff for you. So it didn't have to be said. But in this instance, when you got into a relationship like this, that aspect of you telling her what you needed wasn't there. And it's quite interesting to kind of see that, because I feel like you're a very assertive person, but we all have different areas of assertiveness in different areas.
I'll tell you why. Simple as this, right? And people take it how they want to take it. I felt like initially she was out of my league. She's somebody that's like, you're like, oh man, she's so gorgeous. Will she ever talk to me? And then she falls in love with you, right? So then you get this thing that you always wanted. So you don't want to lose this thing that you always wanted. You don't want to lose it. So it's like, damn, I'd love to have this thing right here. I would love to have this aspect of the relationship, but I'm gonna stay happy with what I got. Because I don't want to ruffle no feathers. I don't want to make it any worse. So I want her to I want to turn her off by me asking for too much. That's what I messed up at. And she said it if he had said it to me, I would have done those things. I didn't think it mattered to you because I was so independent. I'm used to doing everything for myself. I'm self-sufficient. I cook well. I cook better than most women that I meet. So I'll do a lot of cooking. I can clean well. I keep a clean house, organized house. And that's how I am. I'm very meticulous. So when somebody meets me, they're like, well, I'm coming to put my feet up. Everything's taken care of. I'm good. And it's like I brought her into a situation where I took care of everything. And it's like now I'm asking her for something. I'm asking her for something I didn't ask for before. And a part of me felt like that wasn't fair. I didn't ask for it before. Well, I'm asking for it now. And truth be told, I didn't notice how much I needed it, how much I wanted it until after the fact. Or just being in quarantine and kind of just seeing certain things. It's just like, I'm sick of doing this. I'm tired of doing this. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted. She didn't have like motherly qualities. She had fun time qualities, but not motherly qualities. And sometimes you needed somebody that's a peacekeeper, somebody that can, balance the situation, that can calm a situation, that can calm a storm, not rile you up all the time, not be the battery in your back to kind of tear something up. You know what I'm saying? So she would motivate me to go a different route sometimes where I needed to. She couldn't bring me down or know how to calm me down. That just wasn't her skill set.
Bro, that's real. And I love that, man. I think people don't fully understand that. What I heard, I didn't hear you blame her. I think what I heard was you kind of saying how we're different in that instance, and how her energy influenced you in this area. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're blaming her and say she's bad. You're just saying this is what what I experienced, and it's what influenced me to behave in a certain way, which is totally understandable, because sometimes with certain partners, it causes us to be, like you said, it might calm you down. Some partners have an energy that, we're gonna ride out. Bonnie and Clyde, we're gonna ride out and become even more crazy. We might have saw that with Will and Jada. But you know, so I definitely hear that in that situation, because I think that's a real thing to talk about, what you just said there. And that was real what you shared as well about, you know, in the beginning, bro, as men, we know, fam. You look at a girl and you say, "Ooh, this one might be out of my league," and you know, and like you said, you might have compromised on certain things because, like you said, you don't want to ruffle certain feathers because you don't want to lose that, bro. Like if you've hit the jackpot, we ain't really trying to lose the jackpot. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a while. Everybody has different timescales of realizing, do you know what? To be honest, I'm kind of compromising on certain things because I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want to lose this situation. I don't want to lose this girl, and that's real. You know what I mean? That's so real. That is so real. Okay, okay. I think I've got a good handle on that. Go for it.
And to be fair too, I'll also say after the show, I did counseling again for the first time on my own. So I never had addressed my own personal demons and situations and problems that I had. You know, I mean, Savage, you would think there's a negativity comes with that as well. And I had a temper. You know, I mean, growing up, I had a temper as well. I was a hothead. I had to learn kind of to, you know, to calm my storm inside of me. And I learned it toward the end of the relationship, but now I'm really implementing it now, you know, since the relationship is over. So people meet me now, they're like, damn, you seem so cool. You seem so chill. Like, why are you single? And it was like, I had to learn to be this person. I wasn't always this person. You know, the experiences that I had with her made me who I am today, both good and bad. So I had to go through those things to kind of develop this person I am today. Like, it's a joke where they be like, "You real Fernando now. You're real Fernando." You know what I mean? I used to be on your savage shit. Now you're being real Fernando. And it's like, yeah, because, you know, that method of handling situations didn't work. You know, it's the time and place for everything. So I don't try to say like Fernando's here and Savage is here. I'm the same person. I'm Savage all day. But, you know, how I react to situation is dependent on what's occurring, not just how I feel.
Yeah, and that's real. I think that was a good addition of piece of understanding, additional piece of information to give us a bit more understanding, you know, in that situation in terms of dating. Because I think that's what I was trying to get a handle on. You know, like I asked you earlier on, okay, so what was the impact for you? Even though, yes, you never saw your parents split, but there's an effect. Having to go from place to place is quite an effect. Then obviously I've lived with a dad who's very strong with rules. That in itself is difficult already. Even with a mum in the house, that's difficult. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that can also as well, being a minister too, there's an area of trying to be perfect, trying to always have to live up to a certain standard. You know, that can also be a thing. Or you can go the opposite way, which is that you had hyper independence, which is probably what contributed towards not speaking about what you actually want, because you're hyper independent. Like you said something really key, and I think a lot of people can learn from this particular point what you said, because a lot of people do this, including myself. I've done it too, which is I don't want to have to say it because then it loses its gloss. I don't want to have to say that. I don't have to say, you know, come wash the dishes, because what you're actually really saying is I would do this. I naturally would, if I saw you washing dishes, I would come there and be like, babe, do you want me to do something for you? Because naturally, that's what you would do. And there's an assumption that the other person would think the way that you would think, because you've been thinking that way all your life. And you think it's normal until you meet someone else and you realize not everybody has that way of thinking. So actually that's why I asked about why I was trying to find a bit more about the silence, because I think what was happening to you at that moment was that you were, like I've been in that situation too, where you're just, it's like, it's in your head, you're like, this is common sense. Like, blood, if I go to wash the dishes, yeah, you'd help me out putting the dishes away. Like, we'll be a team. I think that's what you're looking for, someone to be a team. I think that's why you stayed for so long. I think because you were getting some aspect of team. You were getting team in, let's go out, let's go do this, let's explore. That was all team. And you were really enjoying it because you love team aspect. I think I can see that from yourself. But you just weren't getting the team aspect, or you both weren't able to communicate what the team needed in the emotional aspect area. You know what I mean? And you know what? That's coming from somewhere. So you know what? We'll do that from nowhere. Yeah, go for it, bro.
But understand, like, I don't want people to say like she didn't wash dishes. No, she washed dishes.
No. Yeah, we know that she washed dishes. That's not what.
But it's an instance of where like you see me laboring for hours making this meal. You know, I got all these pots and pans. I'm making, you know, 3-course meals. And when the meal is over, you know, I'm done cooking, we done eating. You know, to get up and say, those dishes right there that you cook with, I'm gonna clean those dishes right there. You know what I mean? There's that effort, that wanting to take care of you because you took care of me. You know, I'm giving back to you because you took care of me. That thing I was missing. You know what I mean?
Reciprocation.
Reciprocation. Exactly, brother. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And that for me makes total sense. That makes total sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying then, you know. And I think some people don't really fully understand it. This is why I want to have this conversation, because what we're talking about now, someone will listen to it and be like, yeah, that's me, but they ain't gonna say it out loud, right? Because a lot of times what it is with hyper independent people, we are only dependent upon ourselves because we can't afford to depend on other people. Because fam, if you're not there, I gotta get it done. And this is what I've always understood. You actually described it perfectly when you said your dad let you kind of explore, but actually also that makes you hyper independent, because parents do have to guide you some way through it. Not because they're bad, not saying they're not good or parents or anything, but that level of exploration as a young individual, if that guidance always isn't there, you end up living life and moving by yourself. Say, well, I have to figure it out. And when you figure it out, you realize you become super independent, because I've had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own and I eventually get it. So why bother asking? And potentially you might disappoint me, you might let me down, you might not even do it. And why waste that time? I might just do it myself. And what it does is it doesn't allow you to, and this is me talking to you, but talking to myself at the same time, it doesn't allow you to then, when you're in a relationship, to ask for the help, because you're like, well, it should be arbitrary. I mean, if you see me doing something, like, you should just want to help me. You're like, do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the exact same thing that we're talking about right now, which is that people think it's easy just saying, well, why don't you just tell the person what you said? You went for a relationship the whole entire time, you didn't say nothing. It's like, it doesn't work like that, because that's not what I'm used to doing. I'm used to doing things in a certain way, and it's only sometimes when you come out of a relationship that you realize, oh, I was just I wasn't saying anything, but I assumed that you would know, you know?
I mean, I have another example for you. We both travel a lot.
Mm.
She would take trips without me sometimes. You know, group trips with guys and girls, group girl trips, all that kind of stuff, right? She going to the airport, babe, I gotta be there at 6 a.m. You got me? Of course. 8 a.m. I gotta be at 9 a.m. Yep. When she get off the airport, she'll ride back from the when she come back, you know what I mean? She'll ride home from the trip. I'm gonna be here at midnight. You gonna be there? Yep, I'll be there to pick you up. Me? I gotta park at the airport, drive myself to the airport, leave my car at the airport, pay the fee every day for my car to be there at the airport. Same as, you know, when I'm arriving, my car's already there. I can't rely on her to pick me up from the airport. So my car got to be there already for it. You know what I mean? Or if I do the Uber, do the Lyft, I'll pay for that myself. We live 10 minutes from the airport. I still pay for my own Uber, pay for my own Lyft instead of getting a ride from her. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Was it fair? It depends on who you ask. But that's what I dealt with. It was like, you know, she was taken care of, and I did things for her that I made sure was done. But like I said, it wasn't reciprocated to me.
Did you have expectations that were... Did you have expectations of her? Okay, so like, we're kind of going back onto our point, which is that you were the expectations are not bad. The
I wasn't expecting it.
expectations,
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting it. It would have been
But
nice.
you wanted it. It would have been nice to have it,
It would have
right?
been nice. Like, hey,
But
look
you
out for
actually,
me.
but
I
you
appreciate
wanted
it.
it though, and it's not
I
bad if you
learned I
wanted it.
wanted it. I learned I wanted it.
Okay.
Initially, I didn't know I wanted it. I
Yeah.
realized I wanted it, but then it was too late.
Yeah.
And for her, I think she was so used to being catered to, hand and foot, because I think because her looks and everything else, people like bow to her like she's freaking goddess or something. She goes by Queen, name of her Queen. You know what I'm saying? So she's so used to being that Queen status. You know, she's so used to people bending over backwards for her. She never knew how to bend herself. You know what I mean? She didn't have to. Guys always catered to her. They did everything for her. So she never felt like she needed to do anything for them. And when you're in a relationship, when you're living together, it's just like, can you do something for me though? Can you look out for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not feel like doing it, but you do it because it'll make me happy. And I wasn't getting that. And actually, I didn't ask for it either, which is my fault. I own that. I didn't ask for it. I didn't push it. But I learned these things as the relationship went on.
Yeah, I love that, and I think what you're describing here as well is key as well, bro. Because I'm totally identifying with what you're saying right now, bro, and I think it's real. That you over time you learn you learn over time what you needed from the person. I think what you're also describing here as well is that aspect of, like you said, give or take, but then there's aspect of there's an aspect of as well. It's really it just comes back down to that communicational piece, isn't it? Really, it's that communicational piece. Like I said, once you learn it, was coming almost too late to the end. And just to prove what you're saying is absolutely right, fam. One of my ex-girlfriends in the past, whatever, fam. It's gonna sound wild. During sex, this is gonna sound wild, right? Brother, I was going down, brother, every time, cause I was doing it so much. She was enjoying so much. It got to a point that nothing was really coming back my way. And I didn't say anything. Do you know why? I didn't say nothing because I felt like I'm such a pleaser. You know what I mean? There's a pleaser in me that I just wanted to keep on pleasing you and helping. You know what? Just get it. You just keep giving it. You get it. You just go and get it, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I kept on giving it. And it got to a point I was just frustrated at one point. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I ain't getting nothing back. And I was like, bro, but I couldn't say anything. Because I was like, why don't you see that you're receiving so much, but not see that you're not giving some back? Do you know what I mean? That's what my thought was. Like, how do you not see that? Because it's blatantly obvious I'm giving you and you're enjoying, but you're not seeing that. Hey, let me ask coach. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I was clocking that, and we had a conversation after a few months or so. It was a good 4 or 5 months, bro, after we had this real conversation, right? And she said to me, because I brought it up, and I think I was vexed at a point. And this is why I learned a lot about people pleasing. I learned about building up and pile ups. This is what happens when you can't express yourself. And what I learned from that moment was that when I said it to her, and she said, "But you never said anything." She's like, "I would have done it if you said something." But in my head, I'm thinking, "But why do I need to say it?" And then you realize and I think this is where we're coming to with you yourself. And it's not necessarily even, I would say, even a love language. I'm going to be very honest, it's not a love language because I'm not an acts of service person. But it is the people pleasing energy, meaning there is an aspect of you that wants to please people. That's just your MO. If you see something that can help, you will definitely do it. Which is why I said which is why I said to you, I think also if you make a bed, you lie in it, bro. Because the same way I am, I would just lie in it. Fam, if I've made a mess, I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna stay in it because I'm committed to something. I don't do those, you know what I'm saying, similar to you. But I learned in that moment for myself because I realized, okay, I didn't say anything like for so long. But at the same time, I was thinking, why don't you understand that? And I realized there is a select number of people like this. There are people out there who, and a lot of people will say, yeah, you should have said something. You're absolutely right. But there are other people, when you meet them, you need not say it. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that is the perfect person. I'm just saying that it still requires me to communicate, and I had to learn that lesson. But I also realized as well that there's a uniqueness to the kind of people we are, meaning that there's some people, when you see a problem, you just go and help. You don't ask questions. You don't need to be asked. Do you know what I'm saying? If we're having sex, I'm gonna give it to you, and if you're giving it to me, I'm gonna give it to you. You don't have to ask me because I'm already thinking about you, and you'll realize that is not everybody. It's unfortunate, but that's not everybody. Not even necessarily they're even selfish, but that's not how they think.
Yeah, their mind don't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And like I've always been given. You know, my mom was very giving. My grandmother was very giving. We're just giving people, and you got to learn sometimes that some people will receive everything you give them, and you can't expect something in return because they're just receiving it, and they might not even realize that you're expecting something else in return, or that you would like something else in return. They're just receiving it and just enjoying it and taking it all in. And I'm not clocking. I'm not saying like, damn, I give you 2, give me back 2. I'm not like that at all. But I would just hope that at some point you want to give to me. You want to pour into me the way I pour into you.
That's real. That's real. It's a lesson we're gonna learn, though. It's a lesson we're gonna learn. As a giver, yeah, we have to learn it. As givers, we have to learn it. That
because they'll run you dry, bro.
They'll run you dry.
Like I had an ex from Miami. She worked at King of Diamonds, the big strip club in Miami. She dated rappers like Lil Wayne and other guys, messed with, you know what I mean? And so she dealt with musicians. I'm still the boy from Baltimore, trying to keep up with them and her level of expectations that they provided to her. I'm doing the best that I could, but I'm not Lil Wayne. I'm not a musician. You know what I'm saying? My funds ain't like that. My lifestyle ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? But I try my best to kind of give her, what they gave her. And to the point where I wasn't giving her what she was getting anymore, and she moved on. And that's just some people. You know what I'm saying? They just get out of you what they can get out of you. They can't get any more out of you, they move on.
That's the trouble. That sounds close to empath, almost energy. Like that's what happens, that you find people that are going to use you, which is why I'm saying, this is why I was trying to get the understanding, but now I've got it. I can see where it comes from. There's that aspect that we also have to learn as givers, that we have to learn how to communicate. We have to learn how to say what we want, and not feel bad about asking for that thing from you, right? Because other people don't mind. They don't mind, but we need to also be able to
if you don't say
ask that. Go for it, bro.
I agree. That's what I learned, man. You gotta say, you gotta speak up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even what they say, you'll be intentional. Let people know how you feel and what you want. So that was on me, that she had an idea what I wanted, but she didn't know truly what I was looking for, or she didn't know what I was missing. And I didn't speak up about it. I just kind of just enjoyed what I had and just was happy in the moment, but not trying to thrive and get what I actually really needed out of life, and what I needed from her.
I love that, bro. I love that, bro. Yeah, this is real. This is real. What took you on to Ready to Love then? What took you on to Ready to Love, man?
She watched the show. I knew of the show, and I knew the caliber of women they had on the show. So, you know, I had ex people I've seen on the show, like, man, I gotta meet her. Man, I'll talk to her. Man, that's my kind of lady right there. And I knew that most of the women on the show were, you know, professional, established, educated. You know, they were vetted. You know, they were good women. So that's why I took the opportunity to be on the show, because I knew that they would give me a pool of women that were worth my efforts and my time. You know, being out, just get out of my relationship, I barely could date because you know how COVID was. You go outside, everybody got masks on and things of that nature. You don't know who you meet, who you're talking to. So knowing I can go be somewhere where all the women are, you know, beautiful and you know have their stuff together, it's a better opportunity.
I love that. Okay, fair enough.
I mean,
fair enough.
and I mean, I'll be real. You know what I mean? Growing up, I always liked the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, because it's like it showed his life and who he was. You know, it was just him. So I never liked reality TV. I don't like Love and Hip Hop and those shows. But but I feel like with Ready to Love, it's more showing each person trying to find love. These are older people, they're mature people. Most of them have been divorced or been through serious relationships, and most of them have kids already. And it's a more adult, a more mature show compared to other dating shows I've seen in the past. So I like the idea how the maturity aspect in regards to Ready to Love. And I look forward to that part and kind of showing the world like, hey, I'm a dope ass person. You know, get to know me, get to see who I am, and watch me find love in the midst of doing this. But unfortunately, I wasn't myself the first day, and you know, you see what happened. So.
Okay, no, I get that. When you say you wasn't like yourself the first day, like what was going through your mind that the first day?
I'm a person that's naturally nervous. Like I said, like before getting an interview, before talking to you, my nerves is bad. I gotta have my sip. Have my drink, and then I kind of get into my mood and get to the groove of it. But being on the show, there wasn't much like a trial period. You know what I mean? Like you had to be on point. Like
from the beginning.
The boy Cliff did his thing. Cliff came on there, knocking out the park. Even a T-shirt knocked out of the park. You know what I'm saying? He came ready. I wasn't. I had my nervous aspect. I had some awkward conversations in the beginning, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good for me. So toward the end of the day, later on in the evening, I had better conversations. I had more engaging information. I learned from each other. I learned from people that was there. By that point, it was too late. They already made their decisions. TV had made their decision, and I was no longer a part of the show. But I think I had came on board, from jump, not being nervous, just being ready, being, headstrong. I think I would have did better going forward. I think I would have did better at the mixer.
You get better as time goes along, basically. Yeah. As you feel more comfortable, you get better. I totally understand that, bro.
But let's be real, and it's also who you're talking to. Like you are very good at what you do. Your interview style, you're engaging. You also provide feedback on yourself, and you can relate to me as I relate to you. You give access to your life that relates to what I'm talking about. Some of these women, they just yes or no. Like, what's your favorite color? Red. That's it. Not wild. Nothing else. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give anything. They were just very cut and dry. And so I wasn't. The conversation didn't really go anywhere. So I was impressed. They wasn't impressed. So it went how it went.
I get that. So who was your eye? Who caught your eye first when you got there though? Who caught your eye?
Man, red dress, man, Precious. Like I seen Precious. I was like, oh snap, what's up? And then her name, I was like, Precious. That's you. I'm Savage. You're Precious. Hey, what's up? So, and she was very real, and I think kind of seeing that on the show. Her saying that they tried to label her as a party girl, which I think wasn't really fair. She's not a party girl. She likes to have fun. She likes to really enjoy herself. I think sometimes people are part of that show are very serious and they don't know how to play, they don't know how to have fun. And she was more of a funner, enjoyable, lighthearted person. That's what I liked about her. So most of my time was spent talking to her than even spending any time talking to other people because it was like no point. Like we're not on the same level, on the same ideas. Precious is younger than the majority of the cast, so we vibe better than other castmates.
Fair enough. Okay.
And y'all ain't seen none of that. Like y'all missed all of that.
We didn't.
But
Yeah,
again,
we
it is
didn't.
what it is.
Okay, Precious out here. Okay, no worries like that. Okay, so Precious caught your eye first. All right. And then you had a conversation with Joy.
Who?
Yo,
I'm playing Joy.
Yo, the conversation was hella awkward, man. I don't know. Was it as awkward for you then in that sense?
Hell, bruh, I want to walk away. I want to get up so bad. Why are we still sitting here? Like, I don't know why she felt combative in our conversation. It's like, we're from the same place, supposedly, from the same city. So in Baltimore, it's known either from the east side or you're from the west side, one or the other. It is a initial greeting conversation. Hey, you from Baltimore? Me too. What side you from? The first question everybody asks. So for me to say, I'm from over east, East Baltimore, and you just say, what does that mean? It's like, either you're not really from Baltimore, or you full of, you know what I'm saying? You bluffing right now. Like that, no one has ever said it to me before, honestly. In all my years, like I meet people all over the world from Baltimore, and it's just east or west, as simple as that. And they might say, you from east side, ew. East side nigga's terrible. You know what I'm saying? You kind of go from there and it's become playful or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a whole discussion. But for her just to be like, what does that mean? It was just like, bro, you're not from Baltimore. Like, I don't believe it. Like, something's off right here. Because then it was just, the conversation wasn't grooving. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like I was pulling teeth to try to get some words out of her. So it's kind of messed up that the one person from Baltimore, where I'm from, I can't even relate to. So, and she's a beautiful woman. She's beautiful. She's attractive, but our convo wasn't there. And let's keep it a buck. Y'all seen the show? You see like her and Demetrius talking the other day. She about to get eliminated, and she's bucking on Demetrius. Come on, yo, what are you doing? What is you doing? Come on, yo.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Let's leave it alone, though.
No, but I mean, what you said is what I saw. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw the same thing. So I've put that in my reviews because I did see that energy was it was. That's why I asked to see if it was as awkward as you had it, because as soon as the conversation, I totally understand what you're saying. Like if someone says they're from UK and then America, I'd have been like, "You're from UK? What part of UK?" Like you naturally ask that because obviously, like again, that's meant to be our segue into a conversation. If somebody stops you there, that's a good sign that they don't want to talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you which is fine as well. But that you've made it now. The person now made it awkward because, like, that should just be a natural segue to say, oh, either if you're not from Baltimore, you say, actually, I ain't really from Baltimore. You know what I mean? Like something to say after to kind of move the conversation along. And she can have a conversation with sort of Clifton. It's almost as if like she had in her mind, as soon as she said it, she's blocked it off. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what it felt like a bit in a sense. So,
and when it happened, in the moment it happened, I felt it and I saw it, right? And so for it to end up on TV, mind you, we had a longer conversation. We spoke another time after that, but for that aspect of the conversation to make it on the TV, it showed how much it meant. You know what I mean? How awkward it was. And it was as awkward as it seemed on television. It was that awkward. And for you to avoid having a commonality with me, having some type of kinship, some type of way that we know each other, we just kind of dead it right there. It was like, well, what are we sitting here for? So you don't want to talk to me. You don't want to engage with me. That's fine. And that's what you saw on the show. The next question, I was like, I asked her a question, and she said, "What was the question?" I forgot what the question was. I was just so out of it at that point. Like that, her with the whole, what is that supposed to mean? It just threw me off the rest of the time. Yeah.
There's no coming back from that. Okay. Totally understand that.
I mean, I'll point out another point people might have missed. Precious said she called me body more.
Yeah, I was about to go there. What does that mean? Because I thought she meant your body's more.
It's an insult because when you're from Baltimore, they call it body more murder land. We're getting bodies, people are dying. So there's bodies piling up in Baltimore. So it's body more murder land, Baltimore, Maryland. They call us body more because niggas get bodied, niggas get killed out here. So it's an insult. So, her being from where she's from, and he come at me talking about, I'm about to say body more. Like people that know people locally, gave me praise because I took the mess from Joy and the mess from Precious, and I never like bucked back. I just accepted it and kind of move forward with it. But they both were insults. Like, you don't talk to people like that from Baltimore. You know what I mean? And people expected me to kind of buck back, and I didn't. I just accepted it. It's like somebody from Chicago. You say, "Oh, you from Chirac? You from Chirac?" It's an insult. You don't say that to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Baltimore, but I'm not of my environment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm better than my environment. You know, I grew out of my environment. I'm from there. I can go back there. I'm good over there, but that doesn't define who I am.
Oh,
Facts, brother.
oh, mad. Here's me thinking she was out here giving you the compliments because
Yeah,
you're
I seen
stocky and
Twitter. Yeah.
that's not it. So you were gonna say, sorry, bro, I cut you off.
No, that was it. No, that was it. So I just wanted to let people know that, you know, certain aspects you guys don't know because you're not from the area. You may see it as one way, but like, it's a big beef between DC and Baltimore. So DC looks down on Baltimore for whatever reason. So it's hard for us to meet people from DC because they say, "Where you from? Baltimore? Ew, you from Baltimore?" And it's hard to kind of get past that initial reaction. So to meet Joy, who's from Baltimore, it's like, my nigga, yes, from the same spot. And she ain't rock with me. She had an attitude. Okay, cool. I'm gonna holler at Precious. Precious like, "Are you from Bodymore?" It's like, dang, what's wrong with y'all? Like, get to know me first. Like, get to know who Fernando is before you film an opinion of me. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Oh, you was in the trenches, man. Did
Bruh.
did they bring this up at reunion? Maybe did they bring it? I don't. Did they do that?
I'm not talking about a reunion, but I would say I had conversations with the ladies after the fact, and you know, I'm cool with everybody. Everything cool.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just situations happen.
Okay, fair enough.
And I even throw out there, you know, there was definitely a surprise that I was eliminated. So I'm not saying I did a perfect job. I'm not saying that I should have stayed. I'm just saying folks were surprised, female wise, that I was eliminated. Simple as that. So it's cool. I ain't mad because I'm happy with the way it went out. I'm happy with the way it was edited. I'm happy with the way that I was shown. I'm fine with how everything went. I'm cool. And
Yeah.
I know Keena said she dodged a bullet. I dodged, you know, rocket launchers, grenades, and a whole war. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good where I'm at. Like, I had a fun time not being on the show. I was traveling, I was doing my thing. If you realize I'm not on any of the intro stuff like that, I was in Mexico living my life in Cancun. So I missed like all the kind of filming. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with it. Like, I'm fine.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Obviously, you did also have a conversation with Keena for a short while as well. What was that like? What was the conversation? Because obviously we only saw a brief conversation. You know, what was your conversation like with Keena?
Keena was cool. We both were out of a long-term relationships.
Mm.
So, you know, both, you know, first coming out of the situation, it was like, okay, we're both kind of similar, trying to see how life is now in this COVID environment. She was new to the area at that point, so, you know, realizing that information about her. Both had a daughter, both had pets, so we had some commonalities, and I got to know her better after the show. But
Fair
we
enough.
had a decent conversation on the show. I mean, it was fine. We had a decent conversation.
Mm. Were you surprised when they mentioned your name to go out first?
Very surprised, especially because they didn't air this part, but I would just say it was interesting because they had said Clifton and Paul's names first, as if one of those two was going to go home. So it was like a dun dun dun. So you stand at them two like, which of them going home? And then, you know, nephew like, "Oh yeah, y'all both safe." And you're like, "Oh snap, those two safe, man. There's only 5 left." You know what I'm saying? So it caught me off guard being eliminated, but I was not surprised at all that I was eliminated. And I'm not mad that I was eliminated because, I mean, I would say my love wasn't in the house, but I just wasn't feeling the woman for the most part. I wasn't attracted to them like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't pressed for them. They weren't really my types. So it was just like, I came into a room with people that were cool, but not who I want to spend my life with or spend more time with or really get to know. Like, I'm fine just being friends with them. I don't need to really try to date them and nothing like that. I had no, like, I was literally there sitting there like, what would I talk about on a date with her? Like, what would we really talk about? You know what I mean? Like, what would we do on a date? You know what I mean? So I already had it in my mind. I got nobody's number when I was there. Like, they said,
Oh
you need
wow.
numbers. And I was like, no, what they number? Like, I'll see them again later. You know what I mean? But I don't need a number right now. So that was kind of my mindset. And I think if either they seen it or they just knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't going anywhere.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. Okay, so I mean, what would you like to fill us in terms of what we didn't get to see? Then, you know, I'm sure there was probably some things that we didn't get to see that you might have experienced on the show.
So I would say I had a cool time with Ace conversation wise. Ace is different than what I'm used to. Ace seems to have a very quiet, calmer demeanor, where I'm, roused up and I'm getting lit, and she's very chill. And she told me about like yoga and like getting grounded with the earth and things of that nature. And I was like, you know what? I would want to try that with you because I'm not used to that. And I could learn something from you by trying those things. I may learn how to better myself or better my mind by doing yoga and those things with her. So that's an aspect of conversation that you guys didn't get to see. So I had a real good conversation with Ace, and I look forward to knowing Ace more because of the conversation.
Okay, all right, I love that. So Ace was one of those people that you were, that would have been.
Ace was a vibe. Ace was a vibe, man. She had just this cool, chill demeanor. She makes you feel relaxed. Like her delivery just makes you feel calm, and just like I really like talking to Ace. I really did.
Okay, I hear that.
Like Precious would have been like my turn up homie. I feel like, and Ace would have been like my calm, cool, collective friend.
I hear you. The two sides of you. Okay.
Well, it was more so I'm used to the turn up side
Mm.
and trying to learn a different side or trying to see how it works. Because the whole point of being on the show is, try a different aspect of what you're used to. Because what you're used to obviously isn't working. That's why you're here now being single, because what you're accustomed to doesn't work. So it was me like, okay, you know what, Ace, that ain't really my thing. Yoga, I don't do it yoga, but I will try it because you're into it and you're so into it. It interests me to see what's so great about it because you're interested in it so much.
Okay. Hey, listen, I hear that, man. Ace is saying I can't lie to you. Okay, yeah, that works. I mean, she has a calm, seems like a calm, loving, caring kind of nature. So yeah, I can see that coming through.
And
Yeah,
let Laverne tell it. She better than this person and that person, them two women. Like she better than everybody. Let Laverne tell it.
And Laverne says, yeah, he says, listen, you need to know and settle down, boys. You know what I'm saying? Choose one and pick. Okay, cool. I mean, who do you wish you had more time to talk to then on the show then if you were still on it? Who do you wish you had more time to talk to?
I will say Keena. I'm gonna be very immature right now and say that her hair more than her dress bothered me. I just didn't like her hairstyle. And she made a comment about my dog. So she has a dog, I have a dog, but I have a pit bull. She has a smaller dog. So we talked about like how we would visit each other, something like that. She was saying, "Well, you gotta put your dog away if I come over there." And I was like, "Put my dog away? Why? Like you like dogs, right? Don't you have a dog?" She's like, "Yeah, but it's a pit." And I'm like, "Damn! Like you ain't met my dog yet. You make a judgment about my dog. You ain't even met her yet. She's the most loving, caring dog in the whole world. Like Zoe is the sweetest little thing. She is a pit, but that doesn't mean that she is aggressive or mean. So like her thought process about my dog kind of turned me off to her. Like, damn, she's so judgmental. She didn't give the dog a chance. But now knowing Keena after the fact, man, Keena is freaking dope, bro. Keena is so cool, so level-headed, just real. She just is who she is, and there's no fake or phony with her. And it's so easy to talk to her because you're getting the truth from her, and she's not selling you a game or selling you a story. She's just being herself. And if you like it, you don't like it, you gotta accept it because that's her being her. Yeah, I kind of see on the show she got to let go because they felt like she was being too blunt or whatever. But I like that in my life. You know what I mean? Like some people are finesses. You know what I'm saying? Or they just sell you a dream where it makes us sound sweet, and that's not her. She just gonna give it to you real. And she's a good, sweethearted person. She's a very loving person, all about the community, but she's also real.
I like that. So you like straight shooters?
Like straight shooters, man.
I hear
Don't
that.
sell me no fluff, man. Don't sell me no fluff.
I hear that still. I hear that. Okay, so from yourself then, obviously looking back at the process, what do you think that you learned from the process? I know it's a short time, but what do you think you learned from the process?
To be direct, letting people know how I feel or be more comfortable in my skin. Just talk. Just let the conversation go organically instead of trying to drive the conversation or ask certain questions. Like I'm new to dating, in this aspect. I didn't know what questions to ask. So on the feedback, they said ask interview questions. I had no idea. I didn't know the interview questions. So going forward, just kind of knowing like how to allow the conversation to flow, allow people to kind of see who you are and let them judge by them, make a judge point on their own by knowing who you are instead of trying to drive them a certain kind of way.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. All right. Cool. Cool. Um, my final question is then for you. Um, my final question for you is uh are you currently dating or are you single right now? Are you out the game? What you saying?
I was dating before the show started.
Mm,
I'm dating after the show. I'm gonna keep on dating. Um, am I ready to love? Yes. Do I need to love? Hell no. I'm good, brother. Like I am loving life, and being in that relationship for so long, being in that, I've grown both mentally and financially and everything else during those 7 years. So now I'm a new person in a new situation. I want to enjoy and explore everything that I have and that I can. So like people see me now, it's like night and day. They're like, bro, you were so different back then. So now people get to meet me now, get to know the new me per se, and I want to see where those situations go now with the new me. Well, my new mindset, the new way I see life, my new approach to life, my approach to situations and conflicts. And I hope that I spend enough time to really invest and find the right person. I'm not in a rush to find my next future, my next, my next lover, my next, hopefully, you know, eventually spouse and things of that nature. But for me to get there, I'm ready to invest and take my time and slowly make sure that they are who I want them to be, and I
mm,
am who they need me to be.
mm.
So to make sure we have that understanding before we really get committed. Because last time I think we just were being ourselves, but not necessarily verifying is that who we needed in our life.
Cool. I like it. I rate it. Okay. No worries at all. I
I'm
appreciate you, Pat.
single. I'm single, single.
So,
So I mean, listen, I'm available. You know what I mean? So
enter the DMs. Okay. I
DM,
appreciate it.
inbox, email.
Gmail. Someone said Gmail to me last time. Um, is have you got any projects? Any anything that we can get behind, support? Like, let us know.
See, truth be told, like I didn't come on the show to sell anything. So I didn't come on here to sell a podcast or trying to be on TV, nothing like that. Like I came there looking for love, an opportunity to find love, while on television. But now that I'm here, folks see my page, try being savage on IG. And as I travel the world, I have fun. I'm a funny person. I'm a wild, crazy person. And the more you follow me, the more you see this, the more you see that I'm doing. If you want to do what I'm doing, you want to travel with me, you want to get some advice from me in regards to travel, or somebody want to have me on the show to in regards to cooking, comedic side, whatever, I'm open to it and I'm available. Like I'm a jack of all trades, and once you see me and once you're around me, you'll realize, like you see it now, a 12 conversation. And I'm a dope person. I'm a real person. I think we need more of realness in the world. So all the people are wearing this mask and being phony and being fake. I'm trying to be real out here. So that's what I'm saying. Try being savage, man. Try being real for real.
I love that. I love that. All right, Fernando, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you so much for being transparent, being open, being honest, and reasoning with me. I appreciate that, bro. Like, it's a good conversation we had here today, man, and I learned as well. So that's always a bonus as well, Audience members, thank you so much for being respectful in the chat, and coming through and supporting myself and supporting Fernando as well. We'll hopefully see bigger and better things from you as well, Fernando, as time goes on. Maybe we'll have you back on the show as well and get your thoughts and stuff.
Listen, bro. I love to talk, bro. Was a review panel, conversation, whatever. Holla at me, yo. I love to talk. And
Review
I think
panel
we
indeed.
vibe, bro. We vibe, bro. We vibe. I'm all for it.
I love that, but review panel definitely, fam. We'll have to do one of those, fam. So we'll bring you on that one to get me, especially when the reunion airs.
Boy, look, I'm gonna say fireworks. Shorty.
I'll be hearing the same thing. I've been hearing the fireworks are going off, baby.
Yeah, man. We'll see. We'll see what they show. We'll see what they show.
True that. That's always true as well. That's always true. All right, audience. We'll see you again very soon. Much love and appreciation. Until next time, myself.